what my secret is. I just smile and say, follow me. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Life's too short not to really live. I got a big heart, I can let you in. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. On top of the world. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. On top of the world. People ask me what my secret is. I just smile and say, live for today. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the sun came up and I gotta say, see it in a whole new way. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah. On top of the world. Yeah. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah. On top of the world. Yeah. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. People ask me what my secret is. On top of the world. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Ask me what my secret is. On top of the world. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah, I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Got that smile upon my face, cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know. Yeah, I'm going for the ride and find myself I am alive and I soar. Still I run towards the wind and let the challenge draw me in, cause I want more. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. 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 Oh, wake up heart and wake up mind and see the world is yours to find and know. With every passing day there's more calling you out to explore. Get up and go. There is joy found in the race, and I feel it in the place where I'm free. And I simply can't deny it, that I feel adventure calling out to me. Yeah, we are all looking for adventure. 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 We are all looking for And I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. Living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be free, meant to be free.
Hello, Universe! Magandang hapon po sa lahat ng ating climate reality leaders. No? Magandang hapon po sa lahat ng nanonood sa atin live sa The Climate Reality Project Philippines Facebook page. Ako po si Aimee Oliveros. Ako po isang climate reality leader at nagbabalik due to insistent public demand bilang inyong host sa isa na namang makabulhang episode ng ating Klimatotohanan webcast series. Our episode today is entitled Waste to Zero Waste, Why You Should Shift to Zero Waste. And this is a follow-up, di ba, sa ating nakaraang episode kung saan pinag-usapan natin ang napakatinding plastic waste and pollution sa ating bansa at ano ba yung mga polisiya na naglalayong tugunan ito. Ngayong hapon naman, muli nating pag-uusapan ang plastic, no? Pero sa ibang konteksto, no? Paano ba natin, ano ba ang iba't ibang alternatibo dito para mabawasan natin bilang consumers ang pag-generate ng basura. Marami ba tayong pag-uusapan ngayong hapon? Pero bago ang lahat, ipapakilala ko muna ang co-host ko ngayong episode na ito, no guys? Kung hindi nyo lang po na itatanong, no? Pero Miss Universe po ang peg namin ngayon. Siyempre kung ako po si Ate Olivia, meron dapat Mario Lopez. Ayan. Siya ay isang climate reality leader at siya rin po ay nagbabalik bilang host natin ng Klimatotohanan webcast series. Hindi ko lang sure kung due to insistent public demand din ba ito, no? Pero nevertheless, let's warmly welcome Marvin Corachea. Hi Mario. Ay, Marvz.
So, hello Aimee. So, medyo malapit naman kay Mario, diba? Yung name. So, dahil feeling host tayo ngayon ng Miss You, at hindi pa rin ako makamove on, kaya Miss Peru, if you're watching this episode, this is dedicated to you. Bago pa kung saan mapunta ang ating usapan, so isang makakalikasang hapon sa iyo, Aimee, at sa lahat ng viewers natin sa Facebook Live. So, hindi ko rin sure kung pulso nga ba ng masa nagpabalik sa akin or ipinilit ko lang talaga yung sarili ko eh. Basta I'm happy to be co-hosting this episode of Klimatotohanan with you. Napanood ko kasi yung last episode natin nung last Saturdays, mga 2 Saturdays ago. At talaga namang napakaganda ng usapan o balitaktakan nung araw na yun. Ang dami ko rin syempre natutunan. Isa na dyan yung dulot ng plastic pollution sa climate crisis, mula sa paggawa hanggang sa pagtatapon ng single-use plastic, or yung pag-aambag pala yan sa greenhouse gas emissions. So, yung ko lang nalaman na malaki pala talaga ng ambag ng single-use plastic sa climate crisis. So, masakit man aminin, pero feeling ko may ambag din ako dito eh. So, pangalawa, yung natutunan ko, yung palang Republic Act 9003 or Ecological Solid Waste Management Act ay isang comprehensive na batas pala. Pero ang problema ay nasa implementation. Kung lahat ng provision lamang ng batas na yan ay ginagawa ng mga nasa ahensya ng gobyerno, so at mga lokal na nasa pamahalaan, edi sana wala tayong problema sa basura, diba? Lalo na sa plastic at iba pang mga non-environment or non-eco-friendly products. Kaya naman, it's both an honor and responsibility for me na makasali sa part 2 ng ating napakainit na talakayan ukol sa plastic pollution at waste management. Bukod pa sa mga nabanggit mo, Aimee, tatalakayin din natin ngayong hapon ang community-based zero waste practices, household composting at regenerative lifestyle.
You are absolutely correct. Tamang-tama ka talaga dyan, Marvz, no? Pero syempre, no, bago ang lahat, gusto lang natin sabihin, syempre dun sa mga viewers natin sa Facebook, you can actually participate, di ba? Sa ating usapin ngayon, no? All you have to do, guys, comment. Ano yung ginagawa ninyo? What are your zero waste efforts that you are doing now? Type nyo lang yan sa ating comment section. Sana sumama kayo sa ating discussion ngayon. At syempre, kung meron kayong mga katanungan para sa ating mga guests, go ahead and ask away. Kasi magandang opportunity yan, di ba, Marvz? Also, guys, meron ulit tayong ipamimigay na certificate of participation para sa ating mga very, very loyal na audience members. Kaya sana po, post lang ninyo sa comment section ng ating Facebook page ang mga instructions nandyan lang para makuha ninyo.
Yes, tama ka dyan, Aimee. So, sobrang okay yan. Kaya naman sa mga fans ko, sa mga taga-subaybay natin sa Facebook Live, i-comment na at i-follow lang ang instructions how to get the certificate. At napakaswerte talaga natin dahil ngayong hapon na ito ay napaunlakan tayo ng ating mga panauhing pandagal na may mga karanasan sa pagsulong sa sustainable practices, di lamang dito sa bansang Pilipinas, pati na rin sa Asia Pacific region. Kaya hindi ko na patatagalin pa to. Ipakilala na natin sila. Back to you, Ames.
Yes, naku Marvz, I'm very, very excited to really introduce our guest speakers. Talaga namang, naku, medyo bigatin ng ating mga speakers for this afternoon. Now,
Tama ka dyan.
una nating mga panauhin ay syempre, no, kilala nating mother and daughter tandem behind Green Space Pilipinas. Isang food waste composting enterprise na naglalayong i-divert ang food waste from our landfills. Green Space is not only provides composting materials and services, it also gives workshops in food waste diversions, composting, and bokashi technology. Ayan. Aside from running Green Space, itong mga guests natin ay kapwa din natin mga CRLs, climate reality leaders. So, wag na natin patagalin pa. I'm very, very honored to introduce our soil mates, di ba? Rina and Dani Papio. Hello, Miss Rina. Hi, Dani. Please say hi to our viewers. Unahin ko muna si Miss Rina. Sagutin muna natin. Meron kaming burning question para sa iyo, Miss Rina. What does waste mean to you? Ano nga ba ang waste para sa iyo, Miss Rina? You can go first.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So thank you. Well, first, thank you for inviting us here. Now, what does mean? What is waste? You know what? Waste for me personally and for Green Space, it's a resource in disguise. So we only call it waste kasi we have not given ourselves a chance to see it for what it's worth. Tsaka yun yung nakasanayan na natin when pag meron tayong binuksan na something, automatic yung natitira for throwing away. So, it's actually a resource, especially when it comes to food waste. Food waste is not waste. It's a very valuable resource. We really just have to change the way we look at it. I let Dani share her thoughts.
Thank you so much, Miss Rina. Ang ganda no? Waste is a resource, di ba? Thank you. How about you, Dani? What is waste? Ano ang waste para sa'yo?
Not to copy naman my mom, but same. No, and like to jump off what she said na lang is, like to me, knowing that it's a resource, it's like now it's like a responsibility also. So, considering na we should look at it as a resource na there's a lot more that we can do with the waste that we produce. It's our responsibility now to act on it. What we're doing now is, I guess, one good example of that. So, yes.
Nice. Grabe no.
Ganda nun, di ba? Ganda nun, Marvz.
Yes, agree. Sobrang Ames. First question pa lang natin, pang beauty pageant na yung sagot nila. So anyway, maraming salamat ka na Rina at Dani. So our next guest is a fictionist, editor, communication specialist, and founder of the advocacy website This Way Instead, which features people and initiatives that are paving the way to a world that is just, sustainable, and kind. She currently serves as the Knowledge Management Officer for Asia Pacific of the Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives, or GAIA, a worldwide alliance of more than 600 grassroots groups, non-governmental organizations, and individuals in over 82 countries with the aims of achieving a just, toxic-free world without incineration. She also served as the managing editor of Business Unusual, a publication produced by GAIA early this year featuring zero waste stores in Asia Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Sherma Benosa. So hello Sherma, maraming salamat for joining us today. Bilang patikim sa ating mga manonood, please greet our viewers and share with us briefly your response to our burning question. What does waste mean to you?
Magandang hapon po sa ating mga viewers. Magandang hapon din po sa kapwa ko, Gas, and of course, everyone at Climate Reality Project. Thank you for having me here. Ang hirap ng tanong because burning question, and we're at Gaia, we don't burn. No burn kami. So, but yeah, sa burning question, ano ang waste? Ang galing ng mga sagot ng mga nauna, no? Ang hirap na, it's a hard act to follow. But I agree with it's a resource, and it's a resource na nasayang. It's also waste kung it's something that was given to you nang hindi mo kailangan at walang panggagamitan, just like single-use plastics. They are being dumped into us pag bumibili tayo ng mga bagay, and yet we don't need them. So these are waste. And of course, these are things that we cannot manage because they cannot be composted and they cannot be recycled either. So for me, those are waste. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Candidate number 3. Ang ganda na sagot ni Ms. Sherma, di ba?
Kaya nga eh.
That's true, di ba? Thank you so much, Ms. Sherma. Our next speaker naman, yan, is the Executive Director of the Philippine Reef and Rainforest Conservation Foundation, a non-profit organization for the protection of Tanjugan Island in Negros Occidental. Hello sa mga viewers natin sa Negros Occidental. Siya rin po ay nagbibigay ng technical support para mapangalagaan ang kalusugan ng mga coastal ecosystems sa ating bansa. With support from development partners, siya rin po ay nagsusulong ng zero waste at circular practices sa mga sari-sari stores, karinderya at cafe. Naku, very interesting naman. Tinatawag ang proyektong ito na wala usik economy. Wala usik is a native phrase meaning nothing is wasted and adapts the principles of zero waste and circular economy in the local context. Ayan, mga kaibigan, we're very pleased and very happy to have with us today, Dave Albao. Hello, Dave. Good afternoon. Just like our question sa ating mga panelists, sa ating mga candidates kanina, no? Kindly briefly share to us your thoughts as well to the question, what does waste mean to you? Ano ba ang waste para sa iyo, Dave?
Ngayong hapon sa tanan. I'm calling from Bacolod. Waste is not new. When we look at nature, waste is being produced by humans, by animals as well. So waste materials can be organic and they can be digested back by the earth. So the natural design of our ecosystems, that waste is being, sabi nga ni Ms. Rina kanina, it's a resource, it's something that you can use back. However, we have, with our technology, we have materials that we have produced that cannot be digested by the earth. So this is the waste that we're particularly concerned about. But however, we're also concerned about the waste na kahit organic ay nasasayang. No? So ito yung mga nasasayang natin. That's why in Negros, we translate waste as usik or something na sinasayang. And ang sharing ko dito today, saan ang galing itong filosofiya na walang sayang or wala usik or zero waste? Thank you for having me here today.
Yes, so maraming salamat, Dave. Abangan natin yung mga sasabihin niya pa mamaya. So our last guest for today, but certainly not the least, is currently Program Monitoring Evaluation and Learning Coordinator of Non-Timber Forest Products Exchange Program Asia or NTFPEP Asia, a collaborative network of over 100 organizations across Asia. She is also a climate reality leader and the founder of Back to Basic Ecostore, a retail store providing easy and affordable access to household and personal care products without the unnecessary packaging. So I'm interested to this discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, our last candidate, our last but not definitely least panelist is Kate Mana-Galido. So hello Kate, ikaw naman ang tatanungin namin sa aming pangunang tanong pa lang, ano ba ang waste para sa iyo?
Isang makakalikasang hapon sa inyong lahat. Happy International World Biodiversity Day sa inyong lahat. So, siguro sa tanong na waste, magpo-focus siguro ako sa plastic waste na nasagot bilang isang climate reality leader. Siguro ang plastic waste ay isa sa malaking problema na nakakapagpalala ng klima na nakakaapekto sa maraming pamumuhay.
Grabe. Short
Thank you so much. So short but sweet ang ating contestant number 5. Salamat Kate. Nice to see you again. I'm very happy, no? Diyos ko, grabe, Marvz, unang-una pa lang yan, 'di ba? Ang dami na nating nakukuhang insight for today from, waste as a resource and something that's part of the natural cycle of things. Ang ganda, no? Ang dami nating, for sure, marami tayong matututunan, 'di ba?
Tama ka dyan, Aimee. Kaya sobrang excited na talaga ako sa magiging discussion natin sa araw na ito. Kaya sa ating mga viewers, talagang lubos-lubusin nyo po hanggang 6 p.m. ang ating usapan ngayon. So, senyales yan na magiging makabuluhan ang usapan natin ngayong hapon kasama ang ating mga panauhin na talaga namang matatawag nating eksperto pagdating sa zero waste and sustainable practices. marami tayong matututunan for sure at masasabi natin ang discussion na to ay magiging essential.
That is true. Tamang-tama ka dyan, Marvz. Kaya simulan na natin. Ano? Nakikita ko very active na rin yung Facebook comments natin. No? Guys, just share to comments. No? Ano yung ginagawa ninyong activities? What are zero waste activities that you're doing? We're gonna read that a little later on. So balikan natin. No? Punta na tayo sa ating first segment. Marvz, talagang excited ako dito. No? Dito sa ating unang segment, we will talk to our guest about their experiences in promoting and advocating for zero waste practices. Kumbaga alamin natin ano ba ang inspirasyon o sino ba or ano ang nagtulak sa kanila para isulong ang kanilang mga zero waste initiatives o kaya itayo ang kanilang sustainable enterprises. So, my very first question to candidate number 1. Ako, my first question is to Sherma. Siyempre, Sherma works with Gaia, di ba? Nakita natin kanina. In 2020, Gaia released this report entitled Sachet Economy, Big Problems in Small Pockets. Itong report na ito ay tumatalakay sa tinatawag na sachet economy sa Pilipinas at kung paano nito pinapalala ang plastic pollution problem. Bukod riyan, marami na rin kayong nailabas. No? Talagang, if you guys follow Gaia, talagang dapat i-support nyo sila kasi marami na silang nilalabas na waste assessment and brand audits na talaga namang nakakagulantang, nakaka-shock, di ba, ang ating nakitang mga results. So salamat sa mga reports na ito because it gave us a snapshot of the worsening plastic pollution problem in the country, despite the number of cities trying to implement a sustainable zero waste strategy. So para kay Sherma, no, can you tell us more? No? Interested akong malaman ano pa ba yung nakalagay, nakasaad dyan sa ating critical reports at ano ba yung mga salient findings sa report ng Gaia at ano ba yung naging reaction? Ako interested akong malaman, ano ba yung naging tugon ng pamahalaan, siguro ng ating private sectors at syempre ng publiko sa mga report na ito. On to you, Sherma.
Thank you so much sa question. So yeah, we did conduct a lot of brand audits with Break Free from Plastic movement. So there are a lot of organizations then na member. Sorry, forgot my video. Na member ng Gaia and also ng Break Free from Plastic movement. So there's a lot of organization, yung brand audits that we conducted somewhere in the country. The Break Free from Plastic we also did with global na yun. So yung pinaka maganda talaga or pinaka magandang nakita natin sa mga resulta ng mga brand audits natin is that nakita natin kung sino ba talaga yung mga polluters sa bansa at sa buong mundo. So before the brand audits kasi, when you would listen to social media, focus ng mga discussion before had been on individual responsibility. Before that, pati nga yung individual responsibility, the discussions were even limited dun sa parang yung responsibility ng mga individuals beyond simply throwing their waste in the bins. And the brand audits done, with the brand audits that we did, with the members of the Break Free from Plastic movement, we shed light on the responsibility of the corporations. So we showed that these corporations are the ones responsible for a lot of waste, lalo na yung mga single-use plastics, and they are the ones that keep producing the problematic products and making huge profits while polluting the environment. So these days, yung response ng public would be mas marami na sa kanila ang nakikita yung responsibility ng corporations. Hindi na lang yung inward na pagtingin, it's no longer just our responsibility. Although we're not saying na wala na tayong responsibility sa plastic waste problem, we're now more focused on the corporations kasi sila yung nagproduce. And more people are now calling for these companies to be accountable. Yung corporations naman, yung kanilang response, well, they did make pronouncements saying na they are making commitments. At yung commitment nila was to make yung packaging nila more recyclable and also to try to parang mag-move away ng plastic. Pero mas focus sila on actually making their packaging recyclable. Pero yung commitments nila, yung criticism namin sa kanilang commitments is that hindi sila ambitious enough, and also even then hindi na ambitious, yung progress pa nila is not really fast. Sobrang slow, halos wala pa nga silang nangyayari sa kanilang commitment. So what we want them to do is to drastically reduce yung kanilang plastics na pinoproduce, and we want them of course to we don't just want them to make their products or their packaging recyclable. What we want, as I mentioned, is holistic and systemic change. So far, what we're getting from them is a lot of greenwashing. Of course, the government naman, there are now more calls also for a national ban on single-use plastic. It's not yet moving, but at least right now, there's discussion on single-use plastic ban and regulation.
Thank you so much for that, no, Sherma. Talagang totoo yan, no? When you guys, imagine how many millions of sachets, no? Talagang millions of sachets in a day yan. Pinag-usapan natin ay day. And it's been part of the system in the Philippines. Talagang nakikita natin. And it's good, no? Nakikita natin that Gaia is actually pushing for, measures to really support, the communities, diba, and the government. But very quick question lang, Sherma, very quick question lang. What are specific steps, no, that Gaia is actually doing right now, no? What are steps or push? Ano ba yung ginagawa ngayon ni Gaia just to push for tighter measures against waste? Na-mention mo na rin yan kanina, no, talking to etc. And how do we ensure the accountability also from the private sectors? Ano ba yung mga specific na ginagawa natin for Gaia?
Yeah. So yung work sa Gaia, we like you mentioned a while ago during the introduction, marami sa ginagawa namin ngayon is really production of reports showing that there are models na zero waste, mga how-tos, mga fact sheets, and information about why incineration, waste to energy is bad, ano yung benefits ng zero waste. One, governments choose to go towards zero waste, case studies of communities and cities that have gone zero waste. Also, of course, yung business as usual. We have policy briefs as well, where we outline yung mga policies that governments can do para ma-push pa yung pag-ban ng plastics and so on. So we support regulations with these publications kasi we feel na it will inform decision making, and it's going to be very important. And with this information that we're bringing out into the open, national governments may want to come up with policies on regulating SUPs. Just like yung latest na publication namin, we showed na Filipino support regulations on single-use plastics. We also amplify stories. When I was starting, you would hear people saying that zero waste is not possible, and now you would hear na the case studies demonstrating na it's possible and that's happening already. So yun yung mga ginagawa natin, and we're involved also in national and policy spaces para kasi when you are attacking kasi yung problem, it just cannot be at the community level. It's very important that you're working at the community level, but you should also be at the national level, and we're also in the international level, and we're giving input sa mga big publications by international organizations, mga security, which is an organization, parang group siya ng mga big cities, and also Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So we inform also, or at least we comment on the reports that they bring out, and this we feel are crucial in the work that we do, or at least in the fight against single-use plastics.
Yun. So thank you, sir, for sharing with us your initial parang report, kumbaga comprehensive report yung share niyan. Pero pinaka nagustuhan ko doon yung sinabi niya na talagang siguro isa-summarize ko na lang na everyone has a responsibility regarding sa waste natin ngayon, lalo sa plastic. So it's not only the producer but the consumer, and of course the involvement of the government. So ngayon naman, let's talk to Dave. First, gusto ko tanungin Dave na sa work mo bilang sa Philippine Reef, and Rainforest Foundation, thus including the Walang Usik Economy, pwede mo bang i-share sa amin yung ginagawa ng inyong organization at yung mga experiences ninyo sa Danjugan Island? Kasi napansin ko rin, etong Danjugan Island, pwede rin pala siyang, puntahan na ba siya ng mga tao ngayon? So Dave?
Unfortunately, Marvin, hindi pa pwede yung mga taga-NCR pumunta. So it's only accessible for people in Negros Occidental. So again, good afternoon to everyone. I think to answer your question on how the foundation supports zero waste work, I think I invite you to reflect on our roots. Ano ba talaga yung cause natin, why we want to reduce waste? Nature is sending us a message. Nature is providing us life, but at the same time, it's asking for help. So I think it's very important that we experience this. It's hard right now because of the pandemic. We can't travel, so we can't connect to nature as much. So today I'm going to bring you to the Danjugan Island. It's a very small island in Negros, and you're wondering why such a small island? Telling a story about zero waste. I think the island represents our hopes and fears for the future. Ito ay isang, tinatawag na namin itong sa mga scientific research, a cannery in the pulpit. Isa siyang simbolo kung ano yung mangyayari for the future. So whatever happens to it will, it will foretell what the future is gonna be like. So I'm just sharing my screen so that you can appreciate this view. This is the Danjugan Island, the shore facing the sunset. And this is the reason why we are promoting zero waste. We are, being supported by this ecosystem. And this is the view of the Danjugan Island. It is in Barangay Bulata in Kawayan, Negros Occidental, Philippines. And if you want to follow us on social media, we have our social media handles there. And it is a wildlife sanctuary surrounded by a marine protected area. Dito natin may experience, and to answer your question, Marvin, you can visit, but depending on the travel guidelines right now, Negros lang muna yung mga taga Negros lang muna yung makakapunta sa island na to. So itong Danjugan Island is a very special place because it is a place for wildlife to thrive. And it is surrounded by a marine protected area. These are conservation strategies na ginagawa na sa buong mundo. We set aside places on Earth so that they don't, so that they can continue to thrive and not be threatened by extinction. So we set them by policy, by science, and also enforcement. These areas are very important, and most likely malapit sa inyo meron ding isang marine protected area or even natural parks like yung mga forest na pinoprotect natin. However, our question is always like, are these places exotic? Are these places destinations for tourism? Actually, yung protected areas, ito yung natural nating mundo. Hindi siya dapat maging exotic. Dapat tinitingnan natin to as our birthright and our heritage to have these places. However, when we do programs in Danjugan, so sometimes we have camps. Before the pandemic, we held a lot of programs on the island, just so that people can be taken out of their daily life and really focus here. Kasi walang signal, walang TV, all solar powered. They are very close to nature, and they get reminded that they get reminded of our purpose and our role in this earth. And of course, we have to say that we are protecting marine ecosystems like mangrove forests, seagrass beds, and coral reefs because they do mitigate for climate change. They sequester carbon. They're very, very important also for food production. So the ocean makes life possible. However, our waste will make it less habitable and productive. Ito yung mga nakikita nating realities. So if you want to learn more about how plastic naman affects these ecosystems, also facts like what rivers are contributing to ocean plastic, look at this website. Ito yung makakabigay sa atin ng mga more technical data kung paano ba yung plastic ay nakaka-apekto hindi lang sa ating ecosystems but even to our food source. Pumapasok na yung plastic sa food chain. And this is the reason why we are doing zero waste. Ito yung punot dulo. And of course, if we talk about fish as a food, isa din concern is mayroong mga studies that show if the same trends continue, more plastic will be in the ocean than fish by weight in 2050. So this is a future that we are being asked if we accept it or not. So in our foundation, we do not accept this future. However, what can we do beyond cleanups? No? So palagi tayo nag-cleanup. Kami sa foundation namin, many years, it's a 27-year-old organization. I think from the very first year that this foundation was started, meron ng coastal cleanups. So paulit-ulit natin ginagawa yung cleanups. But what we want to do is we want to look at waste beyond cleaning it up. Yun yung ating kwento ngayon. Paano ba natin to resolve yung problema ng waste from the source? I think this is also what Sherma is saying, the production of plastic. This is the story that I am sharing today, Aimee and Marvin.
So, thanks, Dave. Actually,
Grabe, no?
Kaya nga, Aimee.
Diba? Thank you for sharing that experience with us, lalo ngayon kasi we cannot physically be there, no? And sabi nga ni Miss Peru, diba? If you look at these types of, things in our earth, our beautiful, beautiful earth, sabi nga niya, no? Why are you not compelled to take care of it, diba? Nakikita natin kung gaano kaganda yung mundo natin, pero why are we not doing something about it? And thank you for what you're doing, Dave, no? And your team, kasi talagang they're there to protect our biodiversity, especially in the Jugan Islands. So thank you so much for that, Dave. Maraming salamat. Now, let's proceed to our next speakers. Ayan. Syempre, mapunta naman tayo kay ang ating soil mates, di ba? Ang ating soil mates, si Rina and si Dani. I'm very interested kasi I got into composting just recently last year lang during the pandemic. And I'm very interested, no? I'm very interested to know how Green Space started, no? What motivated you, no? For Rina, I want to ask you, what motivated you to really establish Green Space? And how does this enterprise help our kababayans really to live yung tinatawag nating regenerative and sustainable lifestyle? Yan, magandang malaman yan from Rina.
Yes, agree ako.
Actually, I'll let Dani start. She has something to share.
Go ahead, Dani.
Oh, yeah. Hello. So with Green Space, parang I remember ever since I was young, siguro 3rd grade, na my mom would sit us down sa garage. Tapos we had this like whiteboard in our garage. Tapos she would teach us about greenhouse gases, like what is climate change. Tapos I remember na going to school, tapos sobrang proud ako pag nakakasagot ako sa class about like recycling and like all these environmental problems. Tapos I would nag my friends, yung mga ka-service ko na, hey, don't throw your trash sa labas ng service, kaya. So, parang from when I was young, it was something my mom was really passionate about. And essentially like, parang na-influence niya din to us and what we eventually wanted to do when we grow up. So, and then years later, Green Space happened. So, I'll let Mom explain that part.
Thanks for that, Dani. Napaka-interesting. So kung may mga mommies dyan, diba, dapat nag-prepare na rin ng mga whiteboard at mga kahit
Yes.
Diba? Magandang exercise yan. Lalo
yung nanay ko ngayon.
Ngayong pandemic, magandang gawin yan, guys.
Tama.
Yeah, to share more about that. So actually background, my background is in engineering, pero I'm sort of allergic to an office setup of working. And I thought, maybe I should have my own business. Pero wala din naman akong business background. And, pero I've always wanted to do something. And, sabi niyo nga kanina, feeling Miss Universe, ano yung pwede kong gawin that has an impact? Ganun, So, I just thought that there must be something I can do and I just have to keep on looking. It was in 2009 when I met this lady from Mother Foundation. Sa kanya ko natutunan yung RA 9003, kung ano yung MRF. And you know what, up to this point, sometimes I would just say MRF, MRF, and yung kausap ko, ano yung MRF? So still not everybody knows what an MRF is. Pero di ba at that time, hindi ko din yun alam. And then siya nagturo na how much all this household waste is causing so much damage to the planet, and it shouldn't be the case. So doon na parang medyo na-trigger ako doon. Then I came across this Zero Waste Alliance with then President Larry Shalfan. Meron siyang phrase saying na, we do so much to prepare our children for the future, but are we doing enough to prepare the future for our children? That was it for me. Kasi I'm a mom now with 3 kids, as Dani explained. I would talk to them about climate change and all that. Pero like every other mom, we want what's best for our kids, and that includes a healthy, livable planet. Yeah, it matters to me that our life on Earth be lived protecting and nurturing the planet's resources. So I also believe that we should not let our biodegradable waste hurt Mother Earth. Kaya with that, napunta kami na, all right, so there's this, I got introduced to this idea of bioremediation, and I felt na siguro ito na yung hinahanap ko. And I really felt motivated na this is something that we can do. It actually started 2013, pero I would talk about food waste composting and everybody's, oh, that's nice. Pero nobody's engaging kasi parang they weren't ready pa. Especially na disposing our waste is free eh. We just put it in bags and wait for the garbage collector. So why would people pay us for a composting service? So parang, are we crazy or are they crazy? Who's crazy? I don't know, parang ganun, di ba? Pero that's how it started. I really felt like na, siguro ito yung hinahanap ko. And yun, from 2013 to present, it was in 2018 when finally, people were responding na oh nga, we need to compost and we need to do this in our office and all that.
Thank you so much for that, di ba? Napaka-inspiring talaga, Marvz, no? Yung
Kaya nga eh.
Rina is
Sana all-
saying, it's something, di ba? It's something bigger than yourself. You're doing this not just for yourself, na it's bigger than yourself, your family, your kids, di ba? Ang ganda ng ganong mindset. So very, very inspiring.
Agree.
Now, when you talk about, no, Miss Rina and to Dani, no, when you talk about composting right now, and I'm very interested to know, what are your experience in terms of promoting it? Do you have, experienced any challenges? Aside from, mention nyo kanina, di ba, paulit-ulit tayo ng composting, but not a lot of people really do it immediately. Ano pa ba yung mga experiences that you actually have, particularly siguro on households, businesses, or even the youth? To Rina and to Dani.
Yeah, okay. So our business kasi it's we provide, it started now we were selling like composting kits. So we were selling composting buckets, and then we use bokashi technology, which makes use of live microorganisms to break down and help decompose the food waste. And so we sell the bokashi, we produce and we sell the bokashi also. And then parang there came a point na people were asking na, they don't know how to, they don't have time or they don't have space at home, stuff like that. So what can we do? So we tried this new setup now. We would have a service. We now call it Book a Bucket. So we would, you will subscribe to our service. We give you buckets and bokashi. Thus you collect your food waste. And then if your bucket is full na, you just book a bucket exchange, and then we'll do the composting part for you. So, and then for the business side, we try to help, because the business, it depends sa food waste data nila. So very most of the time it's very customized, so depending on the needs of the company. And usually we have been able to work with mga sustainability offices, so they're really open to the idea of what we're doing. So It's allowed us then to, with working with businesses, it's allowed us to spread the message more, start the conversation about what's composting, what's food waste composting and waste management and stuff like that to their employees. So nasa spread din yung message while working with these companies. And then I guess like half of what we throw away is essentially food waste. So just when you decide that you want to segregate and you want to compost at home, or if you're gonna do a composting service or stuff like that, you're already, you only have to fill up the bucket with your waste, which is like mom said kanina, normal na na we throw away our waste. It's just that this time it's kind of a change of mindset where you segregate it and put it in a bucket, but then the results are completely different. Instead of going to the landfills and adding to our problems with the climate crisis, you're able to help by diverting this huge amount of waste from going to the landfills. And then you can easily achieve zero food waste at home with just making the choice to switch habits, or like practice this kind of new behavior at home. Especially us, like even us at home at first, it was kind of hard to. We have a lot of these bins na we have labels na clean and dry, plastics, soiled waste, ganyan. So at first, like obviously the segregating part might be kind of hard to, you know, make a habit out of. But then I guess that's where the responsibility lies, which is part of also when mom holds workshops and stuff. That's also part of the story, the behavioral change, the initiative to do something to start. Yeah. And mom, do you have anything to add?
Oo. Mama Rina, may add pa daw po ba kayo?
You're muted.
I'm good. Dani has shared.
So, thank you. Nakimama rin eh. Thank you Rina and Dani sa inyong finish. Mapapasabi na lang ako ng sana all may mama na katulad ni Rina at may kapatid na katulad ni Dani. So, bago pa kung saan punta sasabihin ko, now we like to go to Kate naman to talk about her Ecostore called Back to Basics. So, Kate pala, sorry. So, para sa iyo Kate, what does Back to Basics Ecostore represent? Ano yung nagbigay sa iyo inspiration para gawin tong store na to?
Yun, salamat Marvin. Siguro, yung back to basics, ni-represent siguro nito yung maraming Filipinos na may desire na maging bahagi ng solution. Katulad siguro ng tema ng World Biodiversity ngayong araw na to, we're part of the solutions. At maraming Filipino na nagiging bahagi na ng solution. Hindi na lang tayo nagse-celebrate ng ng Environment Day, ng Biodiversity Day, pero binabahagi na natin, pinopromote na natin kung ano-ano yung mga solution. At kanina nga kaka-attend ko lang din ng Green Bills Forum na rinig ko si Attorney Anda mula sa Palawan. Sinabi niya, ang Pilipinas is a small but very terribly rich country. Kung pag-uusapan ay biodiversity, napaka-yaman ng ating bansa. At maraming solusyon na ginagawa dito at kailangan natin ipagpatuloy.
So sobrang agree ako diyan Kate. So actually pahabol lang, sobrang naniniwala ako doon na yun nga ang Pilipinas ay maraming biodiversity na talagang may pagmamalaki at masarap sabihin na tayo lang ang meron. Pero pahabol lang Kate. Alam namin na you have 22 years of experience pero very young looking ka pa rin in working with indigenous communities. Bukod riyan, you also team up with a group of women leaders to divert single-use plastics away from oceans and landfills. So given this, we also want to know what you think is the importance of promoting inclusivity in zero waste initiatives. Could you share with us your experiences with working with IP communities and women?
Sige, ibahagi ko siguro din mabilisan yung yung kwento ng aming sa akin din ang aking journey na dali lang nakikita ba? Ayun. I-share ko lang. Ayan. So, yung aking salamat sa pagbibigay sa akin ng pagkakataon din na maibahagi ito. So yun nga, 22 years na naman nagtatrabaho sa environment. Siguro pag mga environmentalist talagang young looking, mag-agree naman siguro ang marami sa akin. Siguro maswerte din ako na ako yung nakapagtrabaho una 22 years ago sa Palawan. So kasama ang mga karamihan ng partner communities ay mga indigenous communities. At siguro dati gusto ko maging marine mammalogist kaya pinakita ko yung dugong dito. Pero nung nakatira na ako, nanirahan sa Palawan, sabi ko, mas masarap mamuhay sa kasama yung mga indigenous communities at saka mga NGOs na napaka masigasig talaga para sa environment. So pakita ko lang yung first eco bag na ginamit ko, 1999. At ito sa mga youth camps, parang nag-youth camp na kami noon, eco camp, at ito yung mga ginagawa namin, paano sulatan ng Jollibee that time, 22 years ago, paano mag-shift, tanggalin ng plastic, tanggalin ang straw, so sinusulatan na namin 22 years ago pa. Pero nalungkot din ako kasi sa mahabang panahon ay patuloy pa rin pagdami ng mga basura, lalo na plastic waste. At sinabi kanina rin ng mga nagbahagi na nakaka-apekto to sa maraming bahagi ng pamumuhay natin, ng food security, water security, biodiversity, local economy at health. At itong lahat na to mahalaga lalo na ngayong pandemic. Paano ba tayo, ang Pilipinas, makakabangon, lalo na ang mga lokal na komunidad? So siguro yung BTB represents 68% ng Filipinos na willing to buy condiments in refillable containers. Ito yung isang SWS commissioned ng Gaya, sa alam to ni Sherma, na sinasabi 68% ng Filipinos willing na raw bumili ng mga gamit sa bahay sa refillable containers. Pero paano? So kahit ako, parang sabi ko, parang NGO worker ka, pero wala akong kakayahan, yung accessibility, affordability, paano ka makakabili ng mga in-refilling. So yun siguro yung kung bakit kasama ko ang ibang environmentalist, binuo ang BTB. So i-flex ko lang yung mga kasama kong Amazona. Tawag namin Amazona, lumaki ata ang mga braso namin kasi kailangan namin magbuhat ng mga carboys o containers kung saan-saan kasi kailangan accessible siya. So sa mga kaibigan namin opisina, dinadala namin siya. Meron kaming day jobs pero after 5 p.m. nagpupunta kami para sila ay mag-refill din. So yun yung BTB siguro. At sana pinipilit namin maging affordable, syempre makakatulong din sa kalusugan at sa planeta. At yung sa pagbabahagi ko naman siguro, hindi na rin to siguro bago sa Pilipino. Siguro ito yung nakikita ko nung bata ako, yung dumadaan sa harap ng bahay namin na kariton na malaki. Ano bang tawag dyan? Na lahat ng mga gamit binibenta nasa kalabaw nga, ito baka pa nga. Pero kalabaw yung dumadaan sa harap ng bahay namin. So, ang zero waste ay bahagi na ng kultura ng mga Pilipino. So siguro sa pakikipag sa nakaraang sa BTB nito nakaraang taon, nakita namin na nakakasuporta talaga siya sa maraming komunidad. At sa pandemic, hindi mo na kailangan lumabas ng bahay mo, nakakatulong sa mga kunyari yan dadaan sa harap ng bahay namin, bibili kami isda, hindi mo na kailangan din ng plastic. At yung kanina yung tanong mo rin sa yung kumusta, bakit kailangan ng inclusivity? Kasi ito naging talaga key message sa akin last year nung umattend ako ng global training sa climate reality na sinabi yung pandemic pinaigting niya yung malaking problema ng inequality na ngayong pandemic hindi lahat kailangan magtulungan at lalong yung mga may hirap, lalong humihirap. So at dagdagan pa nito yung climate crisis nakita natin noong November, yung pagbaha ng maraming munisipyo, kailangan bawat komunidad, lalo na local na komunidad, ay bahagi sa mga solusyon para tunay nating ma-resolve ang ating problema sa klima. At nakita ko ang indigenous communities talaga napakayaman nila pagdating sa kanilang kaalaman, sa mga practices, sa mga systems. Katulad dito, yung isang beses lang kami umupo lang nagkwentuhan, napakaraming pagkain, halamang gamot, mga iba pang mga pampalasa ng pagkain na naibahagi nila. So, tingin ko sila yung pinaka-resilient na mga kung magkakaroon ng problema, napaka-resilient talaga nila. Pero ang problema, ito nga yung last year sinasabi, ay hindi naman sila ginagawang bahagi sa mga decision making. Hindi sila bahagi sa pagpaplano. So hindi rin nabibigay ang mas realistic na mga solution. So siguro respeto kung sabihin nila kasi ang local community sila ang may alam kung ano yung mga isda sa dagat, sila yung may alam kung ano ang mga pagkain sa gubat, sila may alam sa mga inaani. So mas kailangan silang so sila din ang susi sa mga solution, pero kailangan bahagi sila sa lahat ng mga solution.
Yes, sobrang agree ako sa sinabi mo diyan, Kate. Grabe, first first part pa lang ng ating segment, marami na akong natutunan. So all right, to our audience, there we have our preliminaries. As the first segment pala yan ng ating show pala. So yun nga, gaya na nasabi ko, ang dami kong natutunan sa first segment pa lang. At higit sa lahat, yung paano natin ma-apply bilang sa sarili pa lang natin nagsisimula, kung paano tayo makakatulong para labanan ang climate crisis na nangyayari sa ating mundo. Kaya po sa ating mga judges, as the viewers natin sa Facebook, i-comment lang po ang inyong kung ano po ang inyong masasabi sa ating discussion for today. Before we proceed, baka may gusto pang sabihin sa ang ating pang Miss Universe din na si Aimee at ilang reminders.
Okay. Sobrang dami ko natutunan. First half pa lang tayo, 'di ba, Marvz? Now, we just wanna, very very quick lang, we're happy to announce na the Climate Reality Project Philippines po, meron na po tayong official website. It's now up. Please visit www.climatereality.ph. Sa mga climate reality leaders po, if you want to contribute articles or blogs about your initiatives for posting on this website, please submit and coordinate with Christine Galang at christine.galang@climatereality.ph.
Yes, Aimee. So sa ating mga audience at kapwa CRL, just check it out. At napakaganda syempre ng ating website. And attention also to our young climate reality leaders. So young po to. So may age po talaga. Yan ako, feeling young lang. So the youth cluster is inviting all of you to participate, yes, in the plastic-free agenda, a series of challenges comprising the first phase of the youth anti-single-use plastic or SUP campaign entitled What's Up? The plastic-free agenda will run weekly for the entire month of May. Our youth coordinators have already sent out the hashtag #SingleOut/Single-Use Challenge this week via email. And please stay tuned for next week's challenge. So there's a zero waste prices await the top performing agents of change.
Naku, exciting, may prizes, 'di ba?
Yes.
Sana mag-join kayo, guys. Hope you guys join. Now, plug ko rin syempre ang ating Klimatotohanan webcast production team. We're inviting our Pinoy climate reality leaders to please join the team and help us produce the show. Ayan. So the fortnightly Klimatotohanan webcast is a venue for dialogue among Pinoy climate reality leaders to increase their knowledge and deepen their understanding of climate change and help them take bolder climate action. Syempre, as part of the production team, you would be able to hone or even discover your skills and talents, may it be in hosting, writing, or designing. Diba? Kagaya nga namin ni Marvz, diba? Miss Universe, diba? So, if you guys are unable to join the production team, you can actually help promote our episodes. Like and share the webcast on your social media accounts. Kagaya ngayon, guys, if you are doing it now and sharing it to your page, maraming salamat po. Do it. Hopefully, you guys do it next, during our next Klimatotohanan webcast.
Yes, so thank you din, Aimee, sa yung mga sinabi. So isa pang paalala para sa ating mga climate reality leaders, matapos po mag-convene ng youth, knowledge and capacity development and energy clusters, naka-schedule na din po ang pag-activate natin sa mga sumusunod na clusters. Strategic planning of the climate smart industry sa June 2, human security sa June 3, water sa June 9, at food sa June 10. Excited ako dito sa food. Abangan nyo lamang po ang email ng branch ukol sa mga detalye ng mga meeting na ito. So kailangan i-check nyo po ang inyong inbox at pati na rin spam folder. Magsisend po sila ng registration form para sa mga gustong maging miyembro ng mga nabanggit kong cluster.
Oh yes, oo nga. So guys, I hope you open, no? Basahin nyo, abangan niyo yung mga email na yan. and
Yes.
is join, di ba, yung mga susunod natin na cluster meetings. Now, I'm very excited, no? Sana patuloy pa rin po yung pagko-comment natin. Later on, we're gonna read some of the comments in Facebook. But for now, let's proceed to our next segment, Marvz. Nako, kanina,
Sige.
puno na yung usapan natin kaninang first segment. Ngayon naman, baka mas lalo pang mas lalo pang magaganahan ng ating mga speakers. Now, in this segment, our discussion will focus on best practices, methods and tools for promoting and living a more sustainable and zero-waste lifestyle. Ayan, so maganda siguro that we start off by framing our discussion. And gusto kong unahin ang ating first speaker, which is Sherma, bilang siya rin naman siya ang may experience in terms of engagement and knowledge on zero-waste practices at the regional context. So, very quickly, I'm very interested to ask Sherma, sa iyong palagay, no, may mga may mga tinatawag ba tayong model countries, cities, communities, or businesses in Asia Pacific or anywhere around the world on zero waste? At kung meron man, ano kaya yung mga best practices nila na pwede natin gamitin dito sa ating bansa? Kasi interesting yan, di ba, Marvz? Malaman natin ano ba yung ginagawa ng ibang countries at ano ba yung pwede natin gawin, di ba?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for the question, Aimee. So I'll focus on the communities and also eventually yung businesses that we also featured in the publication that we have. So yung zero-waste communities, we have a lot actually in Asia Pacific. We have in India, we have in Vietnam, we have in Indonesia, Malaysia, even in Australia. We also have, of course, in the Philippines. Nakalimutan yung Philippines, Indonesia, and also some other. Nakiscatter kasi siya sa iba-ibang mga bansa. Pero yung the countries that I focused on are the ones na meron kaming project na yon na that's being overseen by Kaya. So meron kaming tinatawag na Zero Waste Cities project. And so we have at least in the Philippines, we have some cities like San Fernando City and Pampanga. They are very advanced in their implementation. Malabon City, Dumaguete, Cavite, Siquijor, Tacloban, Fort Bonifacio, and Taguig are working towards zero waste cities, towards becoming zero waste. And Siquijor and San Fernando, Pampanga have regulations and single-use plastics. Sa India naman, I think I would want to special mention yung Kerala, India, because they have a magandang implementation nila ng tinatawag nilang green protocol, and they have also maganda din yung kanilang yung implementation ng kanilang waste collection and also yung management ng organic waste. Yung tinatawag na green protocol is a program where plastic-free yung kanilang mga events. So if you have big events, kahit na yung athletics, ganyan, they were able to demonstrate that you can go zero waste sa mga big events. Kasi usually, di ba, sa mga big events tayo nahihirapan na mag-implement ng zero waste. And yet, Kerala, India was able to do it. And dito sa lugar na to, sa ibang mga cities in India, may mga very advanced yung kanilang composting technologies. Marami tayong matututunan sa kanila. Actually, we traveled there before in 2017 just to learn about yung kanilang zero waste composting, yung kanilang composting technologies. It's really, really very impressive. And they have social businesses as well that are promoting parang mga yung alternatives, for example, reusable na mga napkins, ganyan. So they have these activities. And also we have members also that are working on hospitals and helping hospitals become zero waste. For example, in the Philippines, yung member naman, which is yung member namin is working on hospitals, and they're helping na yung ma-minimize yung kanilang yung paggamit ng mga plastic sa mga hospitals, because we in their brand audits in hospitals as well, they realize na marami sa mga plastics actually ay yung mga pagkain, sa yung mga single use, mga bisita, ganyan, doon yung maraming mga plastics na ginagamit or single use plastics. On the businesses naman, in our publication, I'll just focus on a little bit on the businesses because we featured them. And these are not our projects, but we featured them in our publication because we wanted to show na parang kasi yung sa implementation ng zero waste, yung businesses, isa sa mga wala pa tayong masyadong naririnig, naririnig natin from the multinational companies, pero yung mga maliliit na businesses, what are they doing? And we realized na in our publication, we realized that there are already a lot of zero waste stores in the region, and they iba-iba din yung mukha ng kanilang pagiging zero waste store. We have businesses that focus on, for example, food waste rescue, parang yung kasama din natin, like Bring Me Home Australia. Others help indigenous peoples and farmers like Sherma and Back to Basics. One focus on food delivery and partnering with Grab and Food Panda. This is very crucial now kasi tayo, we are focused on, di ba, marami nang nag-order ngayon sa food delivery. Ang maganda dito, the business name is Bear Pack. Ang maganda dito is yung mga containers ay reusable. So there is a system that an app-based system that they developed para yung delivery ng mga pagkain ay reusable. So it's zero waste. We also have featured businesses that are demonstrating how community stores like sari-sari stores can become zero waste or mawala sa kanila yung plastics. Kasi 'di ba, yung mga yung mga sari-sari store, yun actually yung point of sale ng mga sachet, mga maraming plastics, and it's crucial that if we can make these community stores zero waste, then it's going to be very crucial in our movement. So like for example, yung Wala Usik, yung kina Dave, they're actually gumagawa sila ng mga prototype ng sari-sari stores na plastic free. Yung Juana Zero ng Mother Earth Foundation, 7 to 9 green stores sa India, Toko Organic sa Indonesia. So these are initiatives na nag-convert. Yung sa India, kinonvert niya yung dati nilang store na into a zero waste store. At yung Toko Organics naman is just like they're also helping. They're zero waste store, and at the same time, they're also helping communities, households to become zero waste, and they teach them about composting and the like. So we also have NView, which develops models. Parang ginagawa nila, ang ganda nung kanila kasi they have, parang may tinatawag silang you create the business models and then to try nila, and then when these work, this can be adopted by organizations or businesses. Others offer refill. Marami sa kanila nag-offer ng refill, at ang maganda sa kanila, they merge it with their advocacies. Like for example, we featured a refill store that's also advocating veganism. And then of course we have businesses that produce zero waste products like Working Mom. Sa Pilipinas to, ang kanilang products naman ay reusable napkins. So ito yung mga businesses that we have. In terms of yung question on best practices, dun sa mga communities that I mentioned, at least in the Philippines, focus ko na lang sa Philippines, at least in the communities in the Philippines that I mentioned, yung mga zero waste communities na ito ay maganda yung kanilang collection system. It's regular, and also naka-implement yung no segregation, no collection policy. So yung mga households are taught na kung paano ba yung tamang pag-segregate ng waste. So it's not really just nabubulok at hindi nabubulok, kundi you have nabubulok, meron kang food waste, kitchen waste, meron kang garden waste, meron kang residual, we have recyclable. So maraming categories yung ginagawa ng mga bahay-bahay. And when these are collected, they are collected separately then at dumadaan, at yung nagko-collect ay yung mga waste pickers at saka waste collectors natin. And what's great about these communities ay hindi napapabayaan yung mga waste workers. They are really seen as the backbone of zero waste, and that's what I'm very proud of them about, kasi they see nare-recognize at tinitingnan talaga yung halaga ng mga waste workers. And it's the same communities that are also pushing for, yung campaign ngayon is yung sana ma-prioritize sila sa vaccination. Kasi di ba, these waste workers go around in this time of the pandemic, they're exposed to the virus, and then sila din yung humahawak sa mga basura, which may be exposed also to the virus. So we need to protect them, and yet they are being left out. So ito yung isang mga campaign ng mga communities natin ngayon. And I'm very proud of that campaign. Sa mga businesses naman, I listed a few na napansin ko sa kanila na ang tawag dito, yung kanilang best practices, yung mga zero-waste stores. One is that they educate the community and eventually they inspire the community. Marami sa kanila, when they started yung kanilang zero-waste stores, the communities wherein they built the zero-waste stores didn't know what zero waste was. And they also, parang hindi nila nakikita yung bakit ka magdadala ng sarili mong lalagyan, libre naman ng plastics. And they educated them, and then eventually, ang tawag dito, they were able to inspire them, and the people in the community, at least around the community, ay natuto na sa zero waste. And also, one thing that I noticed also, yung halimbawa, for example, yung Mana-Galido, yung kanilang education goes beyond just demonstrating bakit mahalaga yung pagdala ng sariling lalagyan. They also demonstrate to the community na when you buy a refill and you bring your own containers, you can actually save a lot. So yung mga tao within the community, nakikita nila na when I do this, I save, and at the same time, I help the environment. So nakikita din nila na it's even costly to buy sachet. Sakala nila nakakatipid sila sa sachet when in fact hindi. And then there is this alternative when they can buy refill. So that's one, educating the community. Number two, they work with the suppliers. This is something that I find very interesting. Kasi for example, yung furniture namin, yung refillables in Vietnam, they work with the suppliers. So they used to have suppliers na hindi zero waste before, kaya zero waste on the outside, pero dun sa halimbawa yung sa sabon, may balot siya na plastic inside, and they talked with the suppliers and they mentioned na parang hindi pwedeng ganito. When you say zero waste, it has to be really, really zero waste. And one business, yung Nude naman in Malaysia, they actually they actually check yung ingredients ng mga suppliers just to make sure na maganda rin yung sourcing, maganda rin yung sourcing, yung human rights, walang nababiolate doon. And last, ito na lang, kasi there's a lot also na nakita ko sa kanilang best practice. The third na lang is yung they help others, parang yung Sheresa, yung iba kong na-mention, they integrate yung zero waste sa iba pa nilang advocacy. So yung ibang advocacy, working with farmers, indigenous people, so they're helping the farmers para mabili nila yung kanilang products ng maayos na presyo, hindi yung alam mo yun, yung nangyayari sa mga farmers natin ngayon, hindi maayos yung trade nila with the farmers, and na-impose pa nila yung zero waste na pagbili and delivery. And also Toko Organis helps communities become zero waste. So yun, so there's a lot of things that we can learn from. It's just that there's also a lot to mention, and we have limited time, so I'll limit the discussion here. Thank you.
Yun. So maraming salamat, Sherma. Actually, marami akong nakuwang input dun. Yung malaking bagay yung nare-recognize yung mga zero waste stores. Kumbaga may report talaga sa kanang monitor. At syempre yung recognition, kumbaga. At sigit sa lahat yun nga dahil sa pandemic na to, so alam naman natin na mas mas click ang mga food deliveries. So pero pinaka-important yung sinabi ni Sherma na education talaga sa bawat every community, sa every individual, kung bakit mahalaga na i-lesson natin or hanggat maaari magkaroon tayo ng zero waste sa ating buhay. So thank you for sharing that, Sherma. So puntahan naman natin si Dave. So Dave, bilang isang advocate ng isang grassroots movement dito sa bansa, ano naman yung nakikita mong best practices and approaches dito, lalo na sa pagsuporta mo sa, balita ko kasi nagsusupport din kayo sa mga coastal communities to reduce ocean pollution. Saka siguro dagdag ko na rin, yung based dun sa mga programang pinatutupad ninyo sa Walang Usik, paano ba yung mga sari-sari stores, mga karinderya, yung mga cafes, transitioning to zero waste practices? Ano yung impact nila in terms of waste diversion or avoidance?
Thank you, Marvin. Talagang today, my goal was to talk about Wala Usik. Kanina, I started with the Nugan Island to let us, remind ourselves why are we doing zero waste. Nabanggit na ni Sherma, no, yung sari-sari store project namin. We're prototyping sari-sari stores to be zero waste. So I will share our practice, and maybe some of you will want to replicate this and what our insights are, and also to emphasize that binanggit ni Sherma kanina na yung education sa community important, because yung mga bumibili sa sari-sari store ay yun din yung community na kailangan nating paintindi kung bakit ba naapektuhan sila ng plastic, no, sa dagat. So, and also I will share innovations na nakita natin sa mga MSMEs, no, mga micro, small, and medium enterprises. These are sari-sari stores, carinderias, cafes, which actually they comprise 99.7% of all businesses in the country. So yun, importante yung usapin yun. How do we innovate in that sector? So to inspire us, I'll show some pictures. No, so ito yung sagot namin kung paano natin i-educate yung community. So we use design thinking to develop this mobile museum. Isa siyang museum na pwede mong dalhin kahit saan. So dinesign ito ng mga artists, ng mga teachers, ng mga scientists, also the solid waste management personnel ng mga LGU. Tapos dineploy ito at nag-tour sa mga iba-ibang municipalities sa South Negros. Ito yung tinatawag naming fishballan kasi lumabas sa design thinking na ang isang form ng mobile museum, pwede siya kasing suitcase na dalhin-dalhin mo lang, di ba? Parang IEC, we call it IEC materials, no, sa government or sa non-profit sector, Information, Education, Communication Campaign. So isang tool ito na dinesign namin, tapos nabigla kami yung end product, isang fishball food cart. So isa siyang umiikot na fishballan, pero instead of, so ito nakikita niyo sa Sipalay, sa public beach ng Sipalay sa South Negros. Ang ganda-ganda niya, makulay, may music, tapos pinupuntahan ng tao na sa public space. This was pre-pandemic, of course. Yung sa barangay hall, sa public beach, sa plaza, sa harap ng school. Siyempre, maraming estudyante pumupunta, no? So ano yung makikita nila sa fishballan? Para din siyang nagbibenta ng mga pagkain, pero fake food sila, tapos mixed with plastic. So it was actually a curated display na merong IEC materials kung ano yung epekto ng plastic sa tatlong bagay sa buhay ng coastal communities. Number 1, food security. At paano ba siya nakapekto sa pagkain? Ano ba yung microplastics? Bakit siya napupunta sa asin, sa tubig? Tapos we even have this installation art called the garbage juice dispenser. Isa siyang dispenser na merong lumulutang na mga plastic sa loob. Tapos pinapa-free taste namin sa mga tao. Like, gusto niyo ba mag-free taste? Para siyang iced tea, di ba? Pero actually, meron lang siyang illusion siya kasi sa loob may malinis talagang tubig kasi iinumin na nagbebenta eh. Sabi niya, iinumin ko to, sarap-sarap po. So parang it's like a controversial, and it has to engage all of the senses. This is for us, our alternative for holding lectures sa mga barangay halls na, alam mo, yung mga pa-seminar ng waste management. Ilang taon na natin ginagawa. How can we innovate? How can we make it experiential na that people can touch it, can smell it, and even taste it, right, in terms of the garbage juice. So that's one major important aspect of the work that we're doing. We should make sure that we have a community education to socially prepare the community to accept the principles of plastic reduction. Kasi if you talk about food security, food, no, pagkain, talagang they will care. But if you talk about turtles dying from straws in their noses, sometimes hindi yun nagta-translate into something that we need to act on. But pagkain, number 2, there are 2 other things, livelihood at saka yung kanilang public health, yung kalusugan nila, yung kanilang pangabuyan sa Ilonggo, ang kanilang livelihood. If you talk about those things, they will care. So now, when we were designing the Wala Usik Sari-Sari store, we wanted to find a name that will reflect the philosophy of zero waste and circular economy. Kasi minsan, na-alienate ng communities natin. So me and my friends, we were also selling metal straws back then. nasa Iloilo kami for a seminar. We had a community education, it was a workshop, and we were like struggling to translate zero waste. No, we wanted to start a catchphrase, so we found this beautiful phrase in Hiligaynon, and it also has a version in Bisaya. It's wala usik. In Tagalog, it's walang sayang. It is something that our lola would say when we eat, when we eat foods. Sabihin nila, wag mo aksayahin yung bigas, ang daming nagugutom ng mga bata, ang hirap mag-produce ng kanin. So kailangan wala usik yung tinggan mo. So parang ito yung nag-inspire sa amin na parang, sino bang gustong magsayang ng, who wants to waste anything that they've worked hard for? So this is something that we see in the culture. And sinabi kanina ni Miss Kate, ang ganda-ganda ng sabi ni Kate, zero waste is already part of our culture. So sa ating cultural heritage, meron tayong word for it. And I will show later. But actually, in the technical term, we're also promoting circular economy. Ito isang wider definition of or wider expression of zero waste. Umuulan sa amin, by the way, sa Bacolod, baka maingay. So yung tanong natin, how do we prototype a zero waste store? Alam natin yung mga zero waste stores, sometimes yung price points nila mahal, you have to buy in bulk. So we know in the waste audits, when we were supporting local governments and the communities to understand the waste that reaches their shore, nakikita natin yung mga sachets. No? Binipilinan natin yung mga klase ng produkto. So syempre, number one. Alam niyo ba yung number one sa mga sachets is actually kape. So kape is one of yung mga 3-in-1, yung mga instant mixes, yun. Tapos shampoo. Syempre, shampoo. So we have, and also even clear plastics, by the way, no? Nakita natin yung mga unbranded na mga thin na clear na plastics, parang tinatawag natin itong adobo wrappers or ice wrappers sa ibang part ng bansa. Nilalagyan nila ng oil, ng soy sauce, vinegar. So yung tanong natin, how can we redesign the zero waste store concept? No, so we started in 2018. Paano ba natin to dadalhin sa communities na served by sari-sari stores, and they say that there's more than 800,000 sari-sari stores. Imagine just how much plastic sachets can be prevented if you transform a percentage of these sari-sari stores. And we are targeting 10%. Hindi pa syempre yan umaabot. We're just prototyping at this stage. Pero if tingnan natin sa ating history, ito yung mga itsura ng mga sari-sari store dati. We did research on, it's very easy to do this, but there are more photos to show. We were looking at how we were selling stuff and buying stuff sa mga sari-sari store. Tingnan yung bata sa bottom left, no? I think bumili siya ng ulam or baka arroz caldo yan. Tingnan mo, may dala siyang bowl. Meron siyang dalang sariling nilalagyan. Tapos maraming mga garapon, so jars. You put things in jars. And basically, everything is something that you can either use or you can compost. No? So this is something that is already in our culture. So siguro in the last 30 years lang nag-evolve yung sari-sari store into a sachet center. So our design question was, pwede ba nating ibenta yung mga fast-moving consumer goods into the same volume, meaning kung ilang ml yun ng shampoo, for example, let's say, I know how much ml is that in a sachet, 25 ml sa isang packaging, can we dispense that but use reusable bottles? Nakikita natin to sa mantika, di ba? I don't know kung iba sa inyo, baka naka-experience pa bumili ng mantika sa tindahan, may gamit ng bote, tapos may funnel. So this is the concept of the wala usik sari-sari. So we supported using funds by USAID. We were able to prototype this for real, no? From miniature models hanggang naging 8 operational sari-sari stores in 2019. And makikita niyo dito yung mga innovations sa dispensary. So really they were refilleries of different products. So we also were curious if the brands would participate. So merong at least 3 brands that express interest in also trying to do this. But there are I also have to mention there are regulatory barriers for material safety for refilling. So isa itong petition na we also launched with many other organizations, including the organizations here, to make refilling mainstream and accessible and sanitary. No, kung pwede ngang mag-refill ng tubig, bakit hindi pwede ng shampoo? So ito yung mga so of course the brands need to participate, because one thing that we learned from our prototype is hindi bibili ng isang produkto ang consumer pag hindi niya kilala yung brand. So importante din yung brand. And this is something that we are also working around with brand preference of our consumers. And our question is, can we expand the zero waste models into other business models na MSME, katulad ng karinderya? Kung bumibili ka ng ulam, lalagay sa plastic na tin tier. So is that something that we can innovate from? So just this year we launched Wala Usik Economy. So it's our version, it's our level up. How can we support a local economy that is circular? Ibig sabihin, no, so circular economy, meron niyang principles, no? So not just designing out waste and pollution, but you're also regenerating natural systems and the ecosystems around us. So how can we support a network of small businesses that are reducing waste from their operations, no? And we found these innovation models. I wanted to share this with you before I end. Micro-refillery, isa na yan, yung tingi-tinging pagbili using garapon and dispensers. Mas maganda din tingnan yung central refilling model, yung mga door-to-door na service katulad ng mga tubig. Diba? Pag nagre-refill tayo ng tubig, there's a central refilling facility. Tinatawag nito sa other countries na milkman model, yung gatas na naka-container. Tapos may business-to-business central refilling, mayroong bottle exchange or deposit return schemes. May deposito yung mga bote. So these are just refill models. But you also have a shared reuse system. Binanggit ko na yung beer pack, no? Yung share natin yung mga containers sa iba-ibang mga food and beverage. So can we return this? Sino bang maghuhugas niyan? Ano yung cost ng paghuhugas niyan? Paano mag-work in business model? This is something we're experimenting with Wala Usik Economy. And in native packaging and wooden cutlery are these compostable food and beverage supplies, something we're exploring as well. So banana leaves that are engineered or innovated, meaning dinesign yung shape para mag-hold ng isang food product. Ang bioplastics and compostables are very debatable and controversial, I have to say, but this is also something that I think there is a future for if we can truly find truly compostable replacement for plastic. I know this is not going to solve the behavior issue, but I really believe that someday, hopefully, we have more compostable options. And then also, you need to redesign formats and shapes. So yung mga liquid products that are now in solid form is also, we can see some of these like shampoo bars, toothpaste tablets, ganyan. And interestingly, lumalabas din sa Wala Usik Economy models, yung mga rental. Pa-rental yung dati pag pupunta ka ng party, you need a dress. Diba? So you go to the rental shop para mag-rent ng barong or ng gown para gamitin mo. So this is also promoting zero waste because hindi mo kailangan bumili ng bago at saka i-discard mo na naman. So parang community closet. And these are all still existing businesses. Repair models, pag sapatos natin, it breaks down. Minsan bumibili na tayo ng bago. So we are also promoting an economy where repair is part of the service. And interestingly, there are also non-capitalist or alternative systems that are circulating resources. Nandito yung community pantry. Isa din siyang zero waste, actually circular din siya. So we're circulating food and vegetables. We also have online selling of pre-loved items. Ukay-ukay is also an interesting business model. Moving food and also even barter. Ang barter ay isa ding interesting business model. And lastly, if you're interested to innovate more, we have a hackathon to search for business models that are promoting circular design. This could be products and services. They could cover the innovations that I just presented. Just scan the QR code or go to our website. We are going to do the hackathon in August, and the deadline for applications is in July 23. This is the Wala Usik Challenge. We hope to see some of you who want to replicate these innovations with business models and maybe even come up with a business that actually reduces waste but at the same time delivers the needs of your consumers. I hope that was helpful, Marvin and Aimee. I see you nodding a lot. I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Yes, very helpful talaga. Saka na-realize ko na yung age ko ng mga panahon na nabibili ko pa yung soft drink sa bote at yung mga essential sa bahay katulad ng toyo, mantika at asukal. So, Aimee,
correct. Ang ganda ng share, ang ganda ng share ni Dave. Sobrang nakaka-inspire. 'Di ba? Sobrang nakaka-inspire. And I hope a lot of our, I hope a lot of our viewers are inspired, 'di ba? Dun sa efforts talaga, dun sa mga wala usik, 'di ba? Yung mga wala usik.
Yes.
Hopefully, no, magkaroon na rin yan dito sa area namin, no, sa Metro Manila, parang mas umusbong pa siya, 'di ba? So, thank you so
Oo
much,
nga eh.
Dave. Ang dami, no, nakakatuwa, ang dami nag-share ng mga comments nila on Facebook. Later on, we're gonna read that more, guys, no, para makita
Yes.
kung ano yung mga comments ng ating mga viewers. Now, let's go on. Let's move on to our next portion. Let's talk to, aside from Dave, no, and for sharing that with us, no, what's happening, no, maganda talaga yung experiences and yung sharings ni Dave kanina. Let's now go to Rina and Dani, who will share to us ano ba yung mga methods and approaching in household composting, di ba? I'm very interested to know how does green space help households and even businesses to start integrating composting in their daily lives or operations. Kasi nakita natin kanina, no, from zero waste, di ba, yung mga stores. And that's, that's another part of managing the waste issue. Now, composting naman is another different area, di ba? Another interesting area to also focus on zero waste and managing our waste, our plastic use, etc. Diba? So, puntahan natin ngayon si Miss Rina and si Dani and tell us more about how you're doing the business of green space.
Okay. Thank you. Ang sarap din makinig, no, with our other speakers. So now we'll share about composting. Alam niyo, there are different ways to compost, and what matters is to just find what suits your household. So it's like one is best over the other, pero it can be defined kasi na how much space ba do you have, how much time, or may mga limitations pa sa residence, or may mga personal preferences ka ba? Kasi actually, you know what, vermicomposting is a very good way to compost. Ang ganda ng resulting na compost with that. Pero not everyone's fond of worms, and pag hindi ka ba happy with worms, it means hindi ka na magko-compost. So it's really just a matter of finding ano ba yung best way for you, for your household. And for us in Green Space, what we teach is the bokashi method. With bokashi composting, it has value both sa source ng waste, which our homes, our offices, our kitchens, and yung nangyayari din sa destination. Bokashi is actually a Japanese term. It means fermented organic matter, so it's a Japanese technology. So the key to bokashi composting is the anaerobic fermentation, which happens in a bucket. Kaya when you do bokashi composting, ang mga components involved there is having a bucket and the bokashi brand. So the fermentation process is key. Fermentation, familiar tayo dyan, di ba? Dahil it's actually a way to process food, di ba? That's what we do with our kimchi, kombucha, or achara, di ba? Those are processes, fermented food. And so hindi lang pala food yung fina-ferment, no? Pati food waste fina-ferment. Kasi food din sila ng soil, so ng earth. So we feed the earth with our supposedly what we call food waste. So with this fermentation process, yung fermentation, parang what happens is it makes the whole content of the bucket acidic. The pH drops. Kaya nangyayari, it inhibits growth of pathogenic bacteria, and then it prevents the food waste from rotting. So hindi siya nabubulok, na-ferment siya, kaya na-eliminate natin yung mabahong amoy, or therefore it will not attract pests. Yun yung mga things that people worry about pagka composting. So it becomes helpful dun sa mga taong they have a lot of limitations in terms of space, and yun nga, ayaw nila, takot sila nang baka bumaho and all that. When you do the bokashi method and you collect your food waste in buckets, so you will be needing buckets and brands. You can actually make your own bucket. Important lang doon, because of the anaerobic fermentation, is to make sure na maganda yung seal ng bucket mo, kasi as much as we can, very little air exposure yung ating collection in the bucket. So di ba ang magiging practice natin ngayon or nakasanayan na, we put all our waste in bags, tapos ang gusto natin is kailangan by the end of the day ma-dispose na yun kasi naku, by tomorrow mabaho na yan. Now when you're doing the bokashi method, you put everything in buckets, layer it with the bokashi bran. Nandun sa bokashi bran yung mga mikrobyo that would help ferment the food waste. So you do that, which means na you're not driven to dispose the waste immediately at the end of the day. With the fermentation process, it can stay there with you if it takes you like a week to fill up your bucket or even 1 month na bago mo mapupuno yung bucket mo. Especially, gusto natin ma-lessen yung waste, di ba? So, it's not that gusto natin mapuno natin yung bucket natin. Pero with very little waste that you generate every day, 1 month na bago mo pa napuno yung bucket mo, then you don't worry about mabahong food waste. So, magiging practice mo lang is just put everything doon sa bucket mo and properly layer it with the bokashi bran para the fermentation would happen. And you just need to learn a new skill. Sabi nga namin, ano yung skill na yon? Simple lang, the art of layering food waste. So kung dating tapon-tapon ka lang ng food waste, ngayon medyo dadagdagan mo lang ng you want to layer it properly. When you put your food waste in your bucket, layer it with a handful of bran. So these are the things we teach in workshop. Not rocket science. It's just a matter of being mindful na pag nagtapon ka ng food waste doon, make sure na you put enough bran to help to have enough microbes to ferment your food waste. And this is what you do every day. So you just keep on filling up your bucket. And how do you parang learn this, sabi natin, skill na art of layering? Just get into a daily food waste routine. Yun paulit-ulit nating sinasabi na tinatapon naman na natin anyway tong food waste na to. So it's really just a matter of dito ko siya specifically ilalagay. So what you'd want to do is have a container ready by the sink. And as you can see, food waste, it's everywhere, no? Kahit saan may kainan, kahit saan may kitchen, laging merong food waste. Kaya it can happen in our homes, in the office. Kaya just put a container or a strainer by the sink para everyone and every time na you need to dispose something, lalagay mo muna lahat ng food waste into your storage, into your temporary storage para kasi if there's anything na gusto nating ma-practice then with bokashi composting, you can put everything, all types of waste in the bucket, just not the liquid. So hindi mo na isusort yung food waste mo na from your preparation and the dining leftovers. Pwede mo na silang ilagay lahat sa bucket mo. Ang hindi mo lang isasama is any kind of liquid. Kaya you wanna strain your food waste, so have a strainer ready. And then dahil na anaerobic yung process, ayaw mo naman na all day bukas ng bucket mo just to put your food waste. Kumain ka lang ng banana, pagka yung peel mo, bubuksan mo naman yung bucket mo. So have this storage, temporary container. We're showing you a photo, no? Parang ito yung what you can do at home na old ice cream tub. Set it up by the kitchen. Yung upper tub mo has holes para it would act as a strainer. And then yun yung daily collection mo from pagising mo sa umaga preparing your family's breakfast hanggang gabi, dyan mo lang muna lahat ilagay yung food waste mo. And then at the end of the day, that's the time you open your bucket. Toss in your tub of food waste and then grab a handful of your bokashi bran and sprinkle it on top of the food waste. So imagine yun yung gagawin mo every day. Tapos pag naglilinis ka na ng kitchen mo, you'd see na mas neat nga yung kitchen mo kasi everything nilagay mo na doon sa iyong tub. And with that, you get your bucket parang ready for your composting kapag puno na siya. So di ba you just do it every day. Yan na yung magiging bago nating habit compared lang dun sa before na bag and throw away. So hindi siya malaking change, in fact, and it's something anybody can do. Parang super no-brainer, di ba, na dito mo na ilagay yung bucket mo. And whenever we plan, you notice naman na tayo mahilig sa kainan. Maliliit na bagay, nagse-celebrate tayo, kakain tayo. And then we always plan ano ba yung kakainin natin. Always include in the planning na anong gagawin sa food waste. Kasi kayo ba, nagplan na ba kayo ng kainan sa bahay and ito yung menu, ito yung bibilin, ganyan, as ito yung gagawin sa food waste. Normally, hindi eh. So we hope na make it part of the conversation. Pag meron kayong niluto, it's not that nag-aaksaya tayo and we're throwing away food, pero merong unavoidable eh. If that's headed to the landfill, really time to make that decision na, no, it's not going to end in the landfill. I'll put it in my bucket and this household is composting. So make it part of your everyday life. That's our vision in green space, to make food waste composting an integral part of our daily life. So the same manner na you think of eating, sleeping, drinking, pag may food waste, or composting yan. kailangan we feel uneasy na kapag nahahalo yung food waste with the rest of the waste. And in fact, when you start doing that, nanonotice mo na how much of the non-food waste you have. It's a way for you to assess then na, I have so much of this kind of plastic waste pala. And then you can evaluate na, ano bang pwede kong gawin dito? And you can start seeing na, these things I can replace with maraming shinare kanina, ng mga reusable stuff. Or if you need to keep your plastics clean and dry, so you can send it to our upcyclers. Makikita mo ngayon na dahil lahat ng food waste, more than half of what we throw away is food waste, lahat yung natira, alam mo na ngayon kung mas may view ka ngayon, anong klaseng managing yung kailangan kong gawin with everything that's left now that all my food waste goes into a bucket. So, of course, may mga challenges, and which is why yung na-share kanina ni Dani is we developed the services model. So I let Dani share about the services. Sige, go ahead, Dani.
Yeah, so I mentioned it kanina. I got excited, but yeah, we with all that mom said, we do this. We encountered this problem when a lot of people were coming to us saying that they wanted to start, they were interested, they wanted to learn, but like in the photo, they would say they don't have space at home, especially those people who live in condos or just small houses, or they don't like the foul smell, or they're scared na it'll attract pests and stuff like that. Or sometimes people just don't have the time to do it even though they want to. So we thought na another part of this, not just as the business but as an advocacy na we believe in, is to make this service para we can help din people who want to start. Because there are a lot of people who want to but don't know where to start. So that's really part of the conversation na we want to spark then with our soil mates. Yeah. And so I mentioned it kanina, but I'll just explain it again briefly. It's the idea is na you subscribe to us, and then you'll get your materials, your bucket, your bokashi, and then you just collect your food waste at home. Like with the things mom shared kanina, even if it's just once a day, and then you use like a separate container to do it. So it shouldn't be a really big change in your routine. And I guess it starts din naman talaga na you decide to make that change in your routine. And then once the bucket is full, you exchange with us your full bucket. We'll give you another empty one. Then we'll do the composting part for you. We have these green spaces now. We have farms now we work with, so the compost and the soil will go to them. And we also even have this new program on community composting with payatas, where we help them build we help them with their micro garden project. So it's the project is where like they have these farmers and small food gardens in their area, so we help them with compost and soil. Ganun. So parang it's it's not just the business really, but it's also this want to make a change about how we see our food waste. And yun nga, like mom said, once you have this like sort of routine, you have time na to assess all the other waste na you have at home. What can you do about them? So and mom, do you have something to add about the green spaces? Yeah.
Yes. Yung the composting, syempre, di ba, what we want is to keep our food waste away from the landfills. Pero if we have sites naman, right now our most active site is in Plaridel, Bulacan. Now, if we're going to transport all the waste to just one location and it's outside of NCR, carbon footprint pa rin, di ba? Kaya we're we are partnered, and yung model which kagaya nung na-share ni Dave about walang yung the sari-sari store concept na we're giving people more access. Kung saan may sari-sari store, it's a place where you can learn about how to go zero waste. So in the same way, and yung describe ni Dani na program with communities, it's in partnership with Good Food Community and Slow Food Sari-Sari. So they're building micro gardens in community. So we're trying to set up spaces in communities such that hindi na kailangang lumayo, no food waste. So if there is space available that we can set up, doon na mangyayari ang composting. Kaya primarily, if you can do it at home, that's the best. Hindi na lalabas ng household mo yung food waste. But in any case na it is not possible, so you set up community composting sites, and kagaya ng what Slow Food Sari-Sari is doing, they're helping the communities grow their gardens, and essential doon yung soil health. So we teach them, if you're throwing away food waste anyway, huwag na natin yung itapon kasi we will use that in our micro gardens. Kaya, which also aligns yung mga sinishare earlier na circular economy, di ba? The waste is used to make their soil much healthier, and with that, they're able to grow food, and with that, we're able to impact food security in a way. And alam nila na healthy, nutritious yung ginogrow nila. They're the ones growing it, and alam nila kung ano yung mga inputs doon sa kanilang tinatanim. At the same time, hindi na kailangang lumayo pa. Dito na siya mangyari. And once they start harvesting yung produce nila, no matter how small the space, merong way to grow food. And once they start harvesting, nakita nila na it's something that their family can enjoy. Nakaka-share pa sila with relatives, with neighbors. Tapos meron pa silang mabibenta. So it also helps in the livelihood, and it's beneficial for the environment. Ang dami niyang positive impacts, and that's what we envision. Now we will have several spaces around the city, outside NCR, where we will enable people to really do their composting. So dapat wala nang excuse. Hindi mo magawa sa bahay mo, most likely we're setting up one where you can do it. Hindi mo magawa on your own. We have a service to help you do it. So wala na dapat excuse why we can't compost. And just to share some numbers then, when we designed or when we thought of the services, primarily it was for businesses. So we were working with offices, the malls, events places, as you would see from the list of the past activities. We were doing pilots with them. Pero this was before the pandemic, and when the pandemic happened, wala nang tao sa labas, no? Wala nang tao sa office, wala nang tao sa mall, so we had to stop for a while kasi wala na kaming food waste na i-service coming from them. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na wala nang food waste. Na iba lang yung destination. We're all working from home. So nasa mga kanya-kanya nating bahay yung food waste. So what we did is we started offering the services to the households. So by doing this, clearly every bucket that we fill up is a measure of how much waste na ang hindi na nakakarating sa landfill. So we've already diverted over 10 tons from all the pilots and all the clients that we currently have. And since we offered it to households in September, we've already diverted over 3 tons. So we currently have 70 soil mates. That's what we call our subscribers, na soil mates. So we have over 70 soil mates who committed to putting their food waste in their buckets, and we collect it from them. So just from September up to current, that's already 3,000 kilograms of food waste na diversion. So imagine if more and more households, kasi di ba we have all these small packs of food waste, so parang why bother? So it's very similar to the reusable straw movement, na di ba parang it began na one straw, what would one straw na ginamit ko make, what kind of impact would that make? So parang pag tiningnan mo kasi yung sarili mo lang na food waste, ang kakaunti naman ito, maybe it won't hurt. Pero hundreds of households turning over their small packets of food waste. Talagang we really wish na more and more people would get into this. And it's going to be much easier then kasi we were able to get help from WWF with they designed a composting app for us. We were hoping to launch this very, very soon. This way, hindi lang yung the whole composting or making the book a bucket much easier for the households. We will get with their help, with the help of WWF, we will parang get to share then our impacts in terms of greenhouse gases, how much methane are we able to avoid, or carbon dioxide we get to avoid by not sending the food waste to the landfill, and then by using the compost, sharing it with partner farms and gardens, we get to see how we can improve the quantity and the quality of produce and how we can impact the lives of our farmers. So that's the parang kind of thing that we really want to happen. So Dani, if you want to share our campaign.
Well, just to add then with what Mom said na, and I mentioned kanina that we also work with businesses, and so like Mom said na the source of the waste just moved to our households. So parang even more now, there's a reason for us to start addressing the waste we produce and everything. And since we want to make composting normal, not normal, but we want to make it part of everyone's daily lives. So like we always say in workshops and when we're working with our soil mates, now our goal is to help people make the change from landfillers to land healers. Because going back to like the idea of composting and the idea of waste being a resource, parang we're making use of the nutrients of the food waste, and it goes back to the earth. And then like the illustration earlier, it goes around completing the circular economy where we're giving back nutrients to the soil, and then our food is healthier, and then the cycle repeats. So that's what we want to do with green space. Yes.
Thank you so much to Miss Rina and to Dani. Grabe, so I learned so much about composting kasi it's really something also that I started. And when you talk about these types of enterprise and types of business, mostly it's not about profit. It's really more about advocacy na eh. Diba nakita natin, starting off with the bucket and then having the subscription, that's actually some napakagandang innovation yan. Kailangan natin the Philippines. And addressing all of these issues, diba? Space issues, all of these things. Diba? When you passionate about something, 'di ba? Talagang nakikita yan kay Miss Rina and kay Dani. Thank you for sharing that. I hope you guys visit their Facebook page. You will learn a lot, no? You will definitely learn a lot about composting. And I hope you guys book a bucket. Simulan niyo na yan today. Talagang hindi kayo magsisiyan. Promise. Promise yan, mga friendships. Sige. Thank you, Miss Rina and to Dani. Now, let's proceed, no? Marvz, let's proceed to our next speaker. And grabe, no, very enriching. Personally, very enriching talaga yung naging discussion natin today. Kasi we're talking about zero waste. We're talking about lessening our waste, our plastics, di ba? Talagang nakita natin yung advocacy really lies from a deeper cause, a deeper reason. And, you know, that's actually quite familiar to me also. Kasi I also am a store owner, no? We have very simple, a very humble restore. We focus on restore and refilling as well, no? And nakaka-relate ako and I'm actually very inspired, 'di ba? Sabi ko nga ang dami pa namin kailangan gawin para ma-achieve namin talaga yung sinasabi nating sustainability. Now, my question is related to Kate, no? Kasi si Kate, nako if you don't know Marvz, I'm very inspired by Kate and the store. And we've met actually nung webcast natin for 24 hours and I'm really interested to know Back to Basic Ecostore has been very successful and we really want to understand how you guys are keeping up, di ba? How you are keeping your store eco-friendly. At syempre, very, very important, ikaw kasi nakaharap ka sa ating mga consumers, di ba? I wanna know if you have any tips, di ba? Ano ba yung mga tips na pwede mong i-share sa mga viewers natin ngayon, no? Sa mga viewers natin ngayon na gustong magsimula dun sa zero waste journey nila.
Thank you, Aimee. Sige. Ayan. Ayan. So, i-share ko lang din nga yung naging journey ng store namin kasi talagang napakabata pa nung store namin. It started 2019 at wala pang isang taon naabutan ng pandemic. So, as I said earlier, nag-start kami pop-up sa mga offices, organizations na kakilala, kaibigan kasi most of us are NGO workers working sa mga environmental NGOs. We wanted to be accessible. So, nung nag-pandemic, medyo nagpahinga rin muna sandali, naghanap ng ibang strategy din kasi supposedly we're hoping to open a physical store. Pero nung nag-pandemic mabuti na lang din, hindi natuloy kasi syempre lahat ng business nun medyo nag-stop. Hindi So, fortunately din na hindi pa rin kami nakastart. So, pero nakita namin yung June last year, nakita namin yung interest lalo ng marami. I'm sure maraming gustong mag-zero waste, pero syempre mahirap nga. Tapos, accessibility, mahal yung ibang store. So, maswerte kami nung June, we were able to find a partner kasi sinabi din kanina ngayong pandemic ang problem is yung delivery. So maswerte kami na meron kaming partner courier na dinadala yung products namin na katulad nito, mga empty bottles tapos ipapa-refill pagdating ipapadala sa customers na hindi kailangan balutin, walang mga bubble wraps, tapos sa mga repurpose boxes lang. Tapos one time we also got a partnership with Palace Reimagine. Ito yung mga jeepney drivers turned woodworkers. So we bring the products nasa crates, tapos nadalhin sa customers and then they give tapos isuswap nila ng mga abang containers nila for the next order. So ito yung, at sinabi din kanina, siguro ako rin kasi yung model din naman to dati na rin, siguro sa Magnolia, yung swapping ng milkman. Tapos, pati rin nung bata ako, utusan na nanay, pupunta sa tindahan, dala-dala yung mga iba't ibang bote. So kami, we also accept donations mula sa friends sa mga iba't ibang bottles, jars, and pag food talaga, sabi rin kanina yung standards also for food. So, we sterilize kahit mga repurpose bottles and jars lang. Basta't food. So, ito yung system ng aming store. So, pwedeng magpadala ng clean empty bottles yung customers, tapos we fill them any amount they want. Tapos, at ipapadala namin. So, tas may swapping din ng container. So, ngayong pandemic, hindi kailangan lumabas yung mga customers namin. Tapos, ito rin, siguro, talagang pinagtutuunan din namin pansin yung we have well-curated set of quality and affordable household essentials. So, essentials talaga. So, nag-start siguro kami from cleaning products and a few toyo, suka, mantika. Kasi most of us moms din. So, ito talaga yung sabi namin. Maraming Ecostores pero wala nagtitinda refill ng toyo, suka, mantika. So, naghanap talaga kami ng partner. Tapos, medyo choosy pa kami kasi lahat, nga kami environmentalist. Ayaw namin ng palm oil kasi syempre yung destruction ng monoculture ng palm oil. So, coconut oil talaga, tsaka Filipino talaga yon. So, luckily, nakakita kami yung ninola, tapos rin kami sa kanila, we negotiate kung pwede ba yung containers, may swapping din. So some of our suppliers also give a discount kapag sinoli din namin yung containers nila. So big containers may swapping din. So ito rin yung nakita namin, Marca Piña, we were able to arrange din ng swapping ng containers. Tapos kasi essential din lalo na ngayon, mga healthy products. Meron din kami mga nakitang suppliers na may healthy products katulad ng mga VCO, Quezon's Best, so Filipino product din talaga to. Tapos yung ibang customers din namin ay we get it from social enterprise then working with indigenous community. So yung NTFP, we also have marketing arm sa day job ko. So we get honey from them, talagang forest honey. Marami ngayon, kasi marami studies sa supermarkets. Most of the honey sa supermarket ay hindi na talaga pure honey. So, we get it talaga din yung as much as possible yung mga products namin sa mga may traceability. So, usually sa mga like custom-made craft center, alam nila kung sino ang harvesters ng forest honey. Tapos, kasi nga affordability din ang isang issue. So, we make sure din, kumisan din may natural products kasi mas mahal talaga, but we give options na less harmful chemicals. So, we find supplier din na less harmful sa environment pero mas affordable sa mga households. Kasi talagang ang sachet din talaga, it's a poverty issue din. So kahit ako nanay, siguro kahit may trabaho ako, usually before bibili ka talaga ng sachet kaysa isang bote na baka pwedeng paglaruan ng anak mo, so mauubos. So talagang pang yan para make sure na hindi maubos talaga, kaya in sachet talaga. So ito, different bottles, different gallons, kung ano yung pwede ka sa bahay. So ito yung mga food products, usually coconut oil nga, at iba pang mga kitchen essentials. Tapos, so yung mga cleaning products din namin, nagdo-donate din mga friends, mga pet bottles, tapos we clean them, tapos doon pwede ilagay, pwede rin mag-swapping. Tapos sa personal care products, yun din, happy kami, nakakahanap kami mga women entrepreneurs na like this, yung menstrual pads, kasi malaking issue din, ang sanitary pads, tapos even health, hindi lang siya sa plastic waste. Tapos, we're trying to build din, marami pa talaga. Gusto namin siya kasi lahat ng essential. So, ngayon, we're also offering herbs. At I think, medyo half nun. Ito lang yung talagang siguro merong ibang herbs na from other countries talaga. Pero hopefully, we find local suppliers talaga. Kasi nakita ko sa Zero Waste, those companies talagang willing to change yung system nila are local companies. Tapos yung kanina, binanggit nga ni Dave, number 1 sachet talaga yung coffee. So we're happy to be able to find Bruja, na company naman ng women din. It's they're selling a coffee, tapos ngayon they launch yung instant coffee. Pero yun nga lang, kasi syempre, yung dating coffee ng sabi nila, at even now, kasi sa Cordillera, pag bumibili ako ng minsan instant coffee, may residue talaga. So, pero ito talaga yung mas healthy na instant coffee, kasi yung instant coffee natin, di mo na rin alam kung anong composition ng coffee. So, ito, happy kami, may isang customer na nag-ipon siya lahat ng coffee jars, tapos ng jars from different food siguro niya. Tapos she donated sa community pantry para zero waste din yung kanyang donation. So, yun yung isang namin. Naghahanap kami sa mga products talaga na in sachet, naghahanap kami ng alternatives. Tapos kanina sabi, tapos we share din mga zero waste tips. So, ito din yung mga products, meron din kami. na syempre yung sachet, syempre yung mga shampoo, conditioner, so meron kaming mga bottles to bars na options. And happy kami yung isang source ng organic soap namin from Bukidnon Bogs. He works with women group in Zamboanga del Sur, an organic town. Tapos so nakakatulong siya doon sa enterprise ng women's group. Tapos so yon, yung ibang, tapos pati mga alternatives to plastic bags, so yung reusable produce bags meron din sa store namin. So kami kanina tinatanong lang ni Aimee yung ano yung tips pa for zero waste. Siguro sa akin, personally, kasi parang pwede ka rin mag-start talaga, baby steps muna talaga. So una siguro on eco bags, tapos ako yun dahil sa work ko dati, puro field work, so kailangan ay nag-commit ako for na dapat zero waste travel. Ang masaya ako doon, nakita ko rin yung challenge ng paano ang zero waste, na even hotel kailangan magtanong hanggang kitchen to have water kasi wala silang refilling station. Pero happy ka rin to find small hotels na merong refilling station sa bawat floor. So possible naman siya, basta dala ka lang lagi ng reusable containers at syempre pati utensils na rin. The second siguro, tapos pag nagsimula ka na rin kasi, tsaka mo na lang tingnan pa, pag-aralan siguro sa sarili mo, ano pa ba yung pwede mong palitan. And usually, you'll find alternatives. So isa pang kinumit, siguro yun, kasi pag nag-shopping ka talaga, pag namili, maraming plastics talaga. So isang nag-commit talaga kami in family, yung hindi ka nabibili ng bagong damit. Siguro sabi ko sa mga anak ko, kailangan once a year lang. So I even told my relatives that pag gifts will be hand-me-downs. Tapos, so sila din naman para how to influence din ng families mo, relatives. Kasi I think yun yung pinakamahirap na ma-influence mo or ma-educate na mag-shift to zero waste. So even gifts, siguro mami ko nagtataka na mga gifts ko sa kanya, mga reusable bottles, mga reusable, mga shampoo bars. So yun din pinapakita ko din sa kanila na how to na sana sila din ay mag-change, mag-shift. So siguro sa BTB for the past year, very challenging, pero we're really happy na for the past more than 20 months na yung aming store, we were able to find more than 20 plus local brands or partners na willing to na can be part of a zero waste system. So yung work target talaga namin, back and front end system. Tapos at pinaka-happy, and we want to find more community enterprises na pwede maging suppliers. Tapos yung syempre, yung nagiging part din kami ng journey ng maraming friends, and yung iba hindi na namin kakilala. So more than for the past 20 months, more than 110 plus households, individuals na natulungan namin sa zero waste journey nila. At syempre kung ilan yung single-use plastics avoided. Ito yung count namin per nabili lang ng customers namin, hindi pa yung number of sachets na replace niya. And usually our customers buy in bulk din kasi once a month sila bumibili, so mas maraming na amount. So yun. And lastly, pinaka-happy, we're able to open na rin yung pangarap naming physical store. So our store is open na for drop-off and pick-up muna, and delivery pa rin. Kasi nga with the pandemic, but hopefully pagkatapos syempre mas makapag-open na talaga for walk-in customers. At siguro kung sino man sa mga audience or participants ngayon na they're willing to start or try yung zero waste store, we will give discount at saka freebies. Just message us sa BTB Ecostore Facebook at i-type in lang yung hashtag Klimatotohanan, and then we will talk to you on how to assist you na mag-start ng zero waste journey. So yun lang. Salamat.
Ayun naman pala. Thank you, Kate. No, guys, so ayan may support tayo from Back to Basic Ecostore. Sabi, hashtag Klimatotohanan lang. So thank you for that. Sobrang inspiring talaga yung stories. No? When you guys are in Quezon City, no, mga friendship natin sa Quezon City, I hope you guys visit Back to Basic Ecostore. And you can also visit them on Facebook. No? So talagang very enriching. Very enriching yung naging usapin natin ngayon, Mark. Grabe, no? Parang all of our speakers no, are very, very passionate about what they're doing. And I hope medyo nagtatranslate yan, di ba, sa ating mga audience member. Kasi obviously, nagtatranslate yan sa akin. And I hope you guys are inspired, di ba, to start your own zero waste journey. No? Sabi nga nila, zero waste, you know, you have to really, zero waste is something that depends on your lifestyle, guys. Hindi natin pinipili ang lahat ay mag-shift into, you know, all natural, eco-friendly, etc. You do it one step at a time. Kung ano man yung estado mo sa buhay, kung ano yung kakayahan mo sa buhay, di ba? Simulan mo doon. Di ba? Kasi ang pinaka-importante talaga is bawasan natin kasi talagang tumitindi na yung problema natin sa basura. Di ba? Di ba? I'm so thankful. I'm very thankful to Kate and to all of our guests. Maraming salamat po. No? Your sharing has been very insightful. It's been very thought-provoking. I think ang daming magagandang comments dito sa Facebook. I hope the speakers sit and read ano ba yung mga comments ng mga viewers natin. And thank you so much for sharing your tips on zero waste and sustainable practices. Diba? Kahit siguro sa ngayon, kahit ang unahin natin, pwedeng composting, diba? With Rina and with Dani. Unahin natin yan. And then after that, reusables naman. And then susunod, baka pwedeng support to the stores, diba? Like back to basics and wala usik, diba? Tingnan natin kung ano yung pwede nating supportahan, diba? Sa ngayon, ba't maganda magsimula ngayon. Ang dami nating natutunan ngayong hapon, diba, Marvz? Pero hindi pa natutunan, diba?
Yeah, sobra. Actually, super duper marami akong natutunan sa ating segment. Actually, dahil medyo kinulang na tayo sa oras, baka pag nagsalita pa ako, abutin pa tayo ng isa pang oras eh. So, di ko na patatagalin pa, Im. So, didiretso na tayo sa ating final round or ang ating minigame. So, don't worry sa ating mga guests, wala po itong scoring system. Magpa-flash lang po kami sa aming screen ng mga single-use products at i-ask lang po namin kayo kung ano yung sa tingin yung best solution or pwedeng alternative to avoid using these items. So, to discuss the mechanics, I'll pass the mic again to Aimee.
Ayan, okay. Para sa ating mga guests, no, ating butihing mga guests ngayon, gaya ng Miss Universe, di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na final statement. Dito naman, tatawagin natin itong final replacement. So, ang gusto nating malaman is dahil, di ba, deeply ingrained na nga ang mga single-use sa ating ekonomiya at sa ating kultura, para sa inyo, ano ba ang best replacement o solusyon o alternatibo sa mga single-use plastics na maa-assign sa inyo?
Yes, Aimee. So para sa ating unang contestant, guest, ay tatawagin natin si Kate. So ihintayin po natin
Ito na ba,
flash
Kate?
ang item.
Kinabahan naman
item.
ako.
Don't worry po, patas po ang ating mga viewers. Sila po magde-judge sa inyo, joke lang. Don't worry po. Fun lang po yan. So ayan po, kung nakikita nyo, single-use plastic or mga sachet.
So ano ba? Meron na ring ino-offer naman, marami na. Like sa toothpaste din, meron ng tooth tubs ba yun? At marami na rin mga entrepreneurs na nagpo-provide nito. So kami hopefully din may makapag-offer na rin nitong mga toothpaste replacement. So toothpaste ba yung kanina?
Okay, maraming salamat kay Kate. Kinabahan ka ba doon, Kate? Okay. Our next image, para naman to kay Miss Rina. Ano ba ang next image natin? Interesado ako sa next image. Okay, ang ating next image ay disposable diapers.
Okay. Nung maliliit pa sila, Dani, yan pa yung gamit ko kasi hindi pa naman ako nag-iisip na ng zero waste. Pero no, good thing ngayon. Meron na, well actually there's lampin, pero you know what? Guilty ako na with the lampin, parang I feel like, ang dami kong lalabhan, gano'n. Mas convenient mag-disposable pad. So, kung wala ka pa talaga dun sa thinking ng using, ano yung value ng using reusable, mas pinanaig ko noong bata pa ako na maging convenient with the disposable diaper. So good thing ngayon, there are alternatives with reusable diapers, and yun para mabawasan na yung ating mga tinatapon na ganyan. Masado ba yung sagot ko?
Yes, very good. Thank you, Miss Rina. Oo, tama, 'di ba? Kasi sobrang dami,
Yes.
disposable diapers, 'di ba? Ang dami-dami talaga, sobrang nagka-create, nagko-cause yan ng additional waste, 'di ba? And sabi nga ni Miss Rina, there are other alternatives, 'di ba? Yung mga reusable diapers. And syempre, kung gusto naman talaga natin makatipid, guys, lampin. Balik tayo sa lampin, 'di ba? Nagsimula,
Oo, totoo.
'di ba? Thank you for
Tama. So,
Rina. Sino na ba ang next natin, Marvz?
so for our next contestant is the guest, Sherma. It's your turn. So please turn on your mic and your video. So
Ay,
ano ba ang
ganun,
ating
nervous
next
din
queen?
ako.
So ayan po, mga milk tea yung nakikita ko pero yung lalagyan ng milk tea.
Nilalagyan ba? Laki milk tea. Yeah, well, yung lagi natin ginagawa. I think this is very common na sa mga zero visa tickets, yung magdala ng sariling lalagyan. So when you go to the shop, mga cafes, ganyan, meron ka ng sariling dala.
Oo, kung pwede ng bote.
Tumbler, ganyan. Oo. Yeah, I think, yung may mga nakikita din ako na yung gumagawa sa bahay nila and all that, nagbote nga yung ginagamit. But for the consumers naman, it's basically they request na lang the consumers to bring their own. Sana pumasa ako.
Sige,
Naka-nervyos ha.
Huwag po kayo mag-alala.
Nervous. Nervous talaga si Miss Sherma. Okay. Sige. Ang next natin ay si Dani naman. Ayan. Tingnan naman natin kay Dani. Ano ba ang mahiwagang... Ayan. Okay. Same din kay Sherma. Gusto natin. Ano ba? Kasi syempre sa mga kabataan, mahilig talaga sa milk tea, mga coffee, di ba? Ano ba
As a milk
pwedeng
tea
alternative?
lover.
Ayan,
Yeah,
perfect
me
pala
too.
kay Dani to.
Mahilig
Oo.
din ako sa milk tea.
Well, now, with my experience, they don't accept tumblers anymore because of COVID. So, walang masyadong choice right now. But I guess, for now, ang pwedeng option is to really find ways to reuse them or like at least not throw them away. Like, I have an example. My desk is full of my Starbucks cups. I don't throw them away. I use them for my art materials and stuff. So parang habang now na I can't use my tumbler when I buy milk tea or coffee, I just try to lessen how much I throw out na lang.
Thank you so much, Dani. Tama, reuse na, 'di ba? Another option is reuse or recycle it, 'di ba? Para naman hindi siya dumagdag ulit dun sa plastic problem, 'di ba? Thank you for that.
Agree. So last but not the least, Aimee,
Oo, ano ba
tawagin
yung
natin si
panghuli
Dave.
natin?
Yes. So Dave, ano bang item ang
Naka na
matatatak
ba,
sa
Dave?
iyo?
Naku, madami-dami ito.
So mga bottle, shampoo,
Madami-dami
shampoo,
ito.
lotion, or toiletries. Pwede nating sabihin mga toiletries item.
Yes, oo. Ano bang mga alternatives dyan ngayon?
So dalawa, yung naisip ko, refilling for shampoo definitely is one thing na the industry is actually watching or working on. So there's an alliance of cosmetic companies that are discussing how they can make refilling available. So maraming prototypes na nangyari. I don't know if you've heard sa mall, mayroong nag-refill prototype. So we are watching this space and how we can innovate this. Second would be shampoo bars or shampoo tablets. Meron kami nakitang business na 12 peso per tablet and it's equivalent to 4 uses. So it will melt after 4 uses. We're also seeing brands that are innovating in this space. So I'm excited.
Thank you so much for that, Dave. Totoo naman, di ba? Tama yan, di ba? Refill. And then there's a lot of items already in the market, di ba? Mga shampoo bars, conditioner bars, di ba? But remember guys, no, syempre, depende pa rin yan sa kakayahan natin, di ba? Kung kunyari kaya natin mag-support ng refill stores, then go for that. Kasi oftentimes, wag lang tayo masyadong maselan, no? Kasi syempre, kung branded ng yung gusto natin, oftentimes, we won't achieve that for now. For now, hindi pa. Kung kaya natin, 'di ba, maghanap ng options that are suitable for our economical needs, 'di ba, and standards, kayang-kaya nating masolusyonan 'yan. Kaya maganda yung sinabi ni Dave, 'di ba? mga refill, mga shampoo bars. Anything you want to add up, Dave? Meron ka pa bang gusto idagdag? You're good. Okay, sige. So, maraming salamat po sa ating speakers. Naku, natuwa ako doon. Ang dami nilang na-share. Ang dami talaga nilang na-share na alternatives. Kinabahan yata sila. Pero nasagot nila ng sobra, parang mga beauty queen contestants.
Oo nga eh. On
Diba?
the
Kaya
spot talaga nasagot nila.
Correct. Kaya, I think, ano na bang next segment natin? Naku, sabi nga natin kanina, Marvz, diba? Bukod sa ating mga guests, meron din tayong mga tinanong sa ating mga viewers sa Facebook.
Yes.
Sobrang active, nakakatuwa ang active ng ating mga participants. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga participants that actually sent their comments, di ba? And nag-react, nag-heart, di ba? Nag-care dyan. Maraming salamat.
Yes.
Natin yung ilan sa mga comments from our viewers. From Miss Rachel Baldonado, sabi niya, I'm 65 years old now. During my younger years, we can buy condiments in sari-sari stores. We bring containers along and store owners refill our containers. Going back to basics is the solution. Ako, totoo yan, Miss Rachel, diba? And maraming salamat for sharing that. Ibalik natin yan, diba? Ibalik po natin yan. Sabi nga ni Dave, wala usik. Gawin natin yan ulit.
Sobrang agree. So from Melchor Ortiaga Soto naman, ginagamit po yung garbages namin, lalong-lalo na yung mga bottles sa aming garden. Ginagamit namin siya as pot, punlaan at design na rin sa garden. Yung mga nabubulok naman, ay kino-convert namin siya as pataba sa mga tanim ko. So, kumbaga, nagagamit nila yung ilang hours, 7 hours na tinatawag nga natin.
Correct.
So, Aimee, meron pa bang mababasa ka dyan?
Diba, kagaya nung kay Dani, yung mga plastic cups, diba, ginagawa nilang mga pots, diba, yung mga plant pots, pwedeng gamitin. From Louis Chin naman, sabi, very vital for me now is promoting the use of reusable and washable face mask. O syempre, lalo sa pandemic, di ba? This is a very much ignored waste contributor. I can't imagine the volume of disposable waste Filipinos already generated more than a year to the pandemic. Tama yan, no? Maraming salamat kay Louis for sharing that. No? So dun sa mga gusto mag-promote talaga ng zero waste, let's start with reusable face mask, di ba? Magandang starting point yan.
Yes, so very nice actually yung mga comment. Actually, nababasa po namin yung mga comment nyo, pero hindi lang po talaga namin siya masasabi lahat, gawa po ng kulang na po tayo sa oras. Pero maraming salamat sa mga nag-comment po at syempre nag-share at nag-like sa ating Facebook Live. So dahil po dyan, patuloy lang tayo mag-share sa isa't isa ng ating mga experiences, tips or ways to zero waste. Pero ngayon, tayo na muna ay magpapasalamat sa ating mga guests for sharing their afternoon with us. So isang makakalisasang thank you po sa inyo, kay Sherma, sa ating mother and daughter tandem na si Rina at si Dani, kay Dave and kay Kate for sharing your knowledge and expertise on zero waste practices. So sobrang personally, ang dami ko nang natutunan nito. I'm sure na-inspire din ng ating mga viewers to live a more sustainable lifestyle, lalo na sa panahon ngayon.
Oo, correct. You're absolutely right. Right. Sobrang sobrang thankful ako to all of our speakers for being inspiration, 'di ba, to us, not just climate reality leaders. I hope lahat ng mga viewers natin, I hope you are all inspired. Maraming salamat po for making our Saturday afternoon meaningful. And we would also like to thank all of our climate reality leaders and other sustainable advocates who tuned in to our Facebook page to watch this episode.
Yes, so once again, if you would like to receive a certificate from us, from Climate Reality Project Philippines, please type in your name and accomplish the form in our Facebook post. So bago po matapos ang webisode na to, ipopost po namin yung survey form. So abangan po natin ang next episode ng Klimatotohanan next month.
Yeah, so antayin natin yan. Sana abangan nyo guys, no? And I hope you guys visit the Instagram page of the Climate Reality Project Philippines at Climate Reality PH and our Twitter account at Climate Real PH. Also, visit the socials of our guest organizations. Yung mga social handles nila ay naka-yun sa ating screen. Now, this has been Klimatotohanan, a fortnightly webcast organized and led by our climate reality leaders to tackle urgent climate issues of today and tomorrow. Why Klimatotohanan? Because we need real talk and real action on the climate crisis. Again, maraming salamat. I'm very fortunate to co-host with you, Marvz. Thank you so much for
It's my honor and responsibility.
Yes. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you again. Yes, we
Thank
hope to see you again in our next episode. Magandang
Yes.
po, mabuhay, Pilipinas.
Yes.